was perfect because we really can talk about the developing world situation because how we addressed it. But one of the
Yeah.
other messaging, like I said, the Victory Garden wasn't invented by us, but the climate smart Victory Garden was our model.
Yeah.
So it addresses the not just about growing food and horticulture and flavor and all that kind of stuff. It also addresses climate change and environmental
Yeah.
issues. And
Yeah.
so we're teaching people about that because that's what we're passionate about is the environment. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing.
yeah. Sorry, Bill. You're on mute. Hi, Sid.
So I just was saying, keep going 1 minute more, and then we'll get the
Oh,
show on the road.
no, I'm just answering a question. I don't know
Yeah,
if anybody else
yeah.
wanted to say anything. Sorry.
Okay. Okay, I guess we're let's see, are we recording? Yes, we're recording.
Yeah, we are.
So those people who join us a little later will be able to see the recording. Um, Okay, close enough. Ding. I'm Bill Graham. I'm the president of the Rotary Dare to Be Great Global eClub, and I declare this meeting on 11 October 2025 to be open. Our topic for today is really so much has happened in the last couple of weeks since the beginning of this month that a lot of people aren't aware of, but they're really dramatic changes that have taken place in the world of AI. And so I think it's really important that we go over them so people can see how big a deal this is. And as I outlined in the invitation, that we're going to be looking at building agents. We're going to be looking at the interactive avatars that you'll just be talking to like a human. We're going to be looking into the latest humanoid robots. A new generation has come out this month on that. We're going to be looking here at the newest versions of AI in general. The rumor mill is going wild on Gemini 3.0. There's been so many leaks, and people are in test mode and reporting on the results in the test mode. So this is going to have a dramatic impact. And let's see, what else did I mention here? Uh, Okay, I think that covers the main things that I was. Oh, and then we have here for those interested in video, Sora 2 has been released that apparently is mind-boggling. Plus, I wouldn't even mention the dozen or so Chinese updates that have taken place just this month. So the month of October is big, really big news, much bigger than people think. I just got the other day access to Alexa Plus, so my smart speaker in my home is now smarter, and so really you can hold conversations and dig into all kinds of things. So we're that much closer to having true AI companions with us or around us most of the time. Gemini is releasing their version, Gemini for Home, is actually being rolled out right now as well. I don't have access yet. At least I don't think I haven't checked this morning because it's changing so fast. But that is something new. We'll also be talking about the changes that are just cropping up inside of the standard interfaces like ChatGPT, like Gemini, that we don't even hear about. And all of a sudden, oh, wow, there's something new there. And we need to take a look at it. So that's the idea for today. before we begin, does anybody have any general comments about the pace of change that's taking place in AI and anything that areas that you would be particularly interested in hearing about? So please.
I'd like to know about AI in healthcare.
In healthcare. Okay. Yeah, big things going on in the healthcare region recently, so we'll mention that. Remind me if we get towards the end that I haven't covered it. Uh,
Yeah,
remind me
like
of that.
in the pharma industry, you know.
Oh, yeah. That too is really really big. And it's they're using agent technology. So the discussion today, actually in the medical field, we'll be talking a lot because some of the examples that I'll be using for agent processes, so that we can get an understanding of how these might look and develop, we'll be basing it on let's say a doctor's visit, a doctor's office, and so forth. But then, as you're mentioning, the pharma industry, this is having a huge impact. Joan, I don't know if you're aware of it, but Toronto is really a key location in pharmaceutical discovery and research based on AI.
Mm.
That's one of the areas that it really started. Another area that is huge in pharmaceuticals, the New Jersey's the it's sort of the capital of pharmaceuticals in the United States, but they've outsourced much of the pharmaceutical R&D to Nigeria.
Hmm.
But the AI part of that is based primarily in Toronto. Yes, Teresa.
Yes. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Yes. I would like to know about AI in the education sector because it's becoming diverse, yes, and it's becoming a challenge. Yeah,
No, very, very good. Education, that's sort of my
that's what I want to know about.
passionate area there. So we actually in our Dare to Be Great club, we have a lot of focus on education. Most of our initiatives that we're looking at are about education. And up to a few years ago, the every almost every project that we were intending or contemplating was based on education. And of course, AI sort of took the stage as the biggest potential threat to humanity in the short term. Of course, it's also one of the biggest potential boons to humanity. But it's a boon that if we mess up, it could just destroy us all. So it's something we really have to pay attention. Yes, Joan.
Yeah, so education is obviously something I'm interested in. But one of the things that I wanted to ask you is more of a functionality
Mhm.
question. And I don't know if that's what you're asking. Um, when I'm doing the research, how do I get not just US stats, but other information?
Have you tried asking explicitly for the
No.
information? Okay, so this is one of the things that if you asked, for example, ChatGPT to create the prompt for you, you tell it, "Hey, I'm trying to do research on this and that and that. Can you please help me write a prompt that's going to give me a balance of
Uh,
information of multiple places? Can you include in the prompt?" Some verification of some of the results that you find
so
and
it's
so
in the
forth.
asking. You have to ask them specifically to do
Exactly.
that.
And
Okay.
when ChatGPT creates a prompt, sometimes it's a 2 or 3 page if you typed it out, page long prompt because it
Okay.
describes what perspective that the AI should be viewing all of this from, and it may go into this is what I want the results to look like. I want you to take on this persona or this role. I want you to, here's the context. I want you to only include sources that are like this or like that. Maybe you might say only peer reviewed. academic sources or whatever. So I, I think here a lot of the professionals that I see, they don't write their own prompts anymore. And if you're in a conversation with, let's say, voice mode or whatever, that's a little different. But if you're looking for really valid research results, it really is worth it to do a two-stepper and ask ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity or Gemini, any of them, ask it to generate the prompt for you and tell it that you want to make sure the prompt accomplishes this, this, and this. So you have to
And
be
I
very.
just want to add one thing too. One of the things that I found out, so obviously I have to learn the prompt questions. When I was writing my book, I used a lot of historical sources,
Mhm.
Canadian
Mhm.
government issued sources. If anybody's writing a book, you have to pay for those references. I thought being the government, you didn't have to, but you actually have to. So just to tell people if they're writing a book.
Yeah, I think here, when that might be something you need to put in the prompt to make sure to tell me if there's any kind of costs or compensation required to be able to use certain material. So yeah, that's a valid point. Paul, you had your hand up a minute ago. Did you want to add something here?
Oh no, I just put my thoughts in the chat. It was just a
Oh,
quick little thought.
okay, okay. Let's see. Let me open the chat on the side so I don't miss these when they're going by. Okay. Actually, what Paul said was doing research. It's best to treat the models as a competent intern that's highly capable, but needing lots of direction and specificity. That's very true. But it also really needs double checking the results. We all have heard about hallucinations and things. We do know things like ChatGPT 5 has greatly reduced the percentage of hallucinations, but they're definitely there. I was chatting with one of the people that I interact with a lot, who is doing. She's writing her master's thesis, and so we were talking about the research and using AI and things like Notebook LM and so forth for helping with the research process. And actually, it's interesting that Gemini came back with a whole bunch of cautionary notes talking about here if you're using the free version, you're limited to 50 sources, and that's really not enough for the typical master's research. The other thing here is how do you know you've got really all the best ones and you haven't missed anything critical? And especially about the fact of the hallucinations. I started having discussions with both Gemini and ChatGPT about, what can we do about that? Now we know, for example, if you do a deep research in Gemini, and I think it's pretty much the same in the others, it will tell you, hey, these are the sources that I went to, and it will very often, especially if you've asked for it in the prompt, to give you the citations to tell you which of the sources the any citations in the research results come from, to then go back and have an AI and say, I want you to go and check all of the citations. In other words, validate all the citations to against those sources, because then it's not going and saying this sounds good. It's going and saying, did I find that source and did I find that citation in the source? And it will generally tell you, no, I didn't find it. I can't find it. So it's one step along the way. But we came up about 6 or 7 steps to be able to really validate all the information that's coming back if you're intending to use it as the basis of something going forward. there was a very interesting case about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago now, of a lawyer who let an intern develop their arguments, a paper for the arguments in a court case, and it was totally fabricated, made up, and of course they lost the suit. But that today you can pretty much avoid that by just looking here and saying, "How do I do this?" And what's really interesting is that I came up with the set of steps in the process to validate any results coming out of AI with the use of AI. In other words, talking to AI and said, okay, where might something go wrong, and what would be the prompt that would check against this? What would be the prompt that would check against that? And of course, that needs to be validated too. But once you get that validated, that's the kind of thing you could put into a custom GPT or a Google Gemini Gem, and then when you go to do your actual prompt, do it via that ChatGPT custom GPT, so that it will validate your response. Okay. Well, let me. Okay. Uh, it's hard to turn these things off sometimes. So I want to just to start off as a sequence, because the idea is to I just want to sort of go through these new things that have happened just in the last 2 weeks, and uh, have you have a sense of how fast things are evolving and the direction they're going in, and through that gain an understanding of how quickly we're going to hit that stage where AI is going to be able to replace jobs in mass, really, very, very quickly. So that's the idea of what we want to do here. Yes,
Well, the speed of change is the name of the game from the beginning. In the last 50, 60 years, in every facet of computing.
yes.
And the time of doubling the knowledge is being shortening every time.
Mhm.
Every stage of the game, we reduce the time of doubling the knowledge, global knowledge of any product.
Yes. Yeah.
AI is no different.
Yeah.
However, what I'm worried about is there's a lot of negativity about AI that is going to replace us. I don't think that will happen. Actually, it may create more jobs. Uh, so we need to look at the positive way.
Yeah.
How and it will actually it may even expand the economy because the good thing about AI or computing is it can do it without getting tired. It can do all the mundane thing, and it can do it without making any mistakes, whether it's a robotic surgery or car manufacturing and things like that. However, there will be a lot of effort in creating those tools, and there will be a lot of employment in creating AI robotics and things of that nature. So I'm pretty happy about that. Uh, and what you get out of the AI tools is what you put in as the good old uh, input output process.
Right.
So
Right.
that's all I have to say.
No, great. Actually, I'm so glad you're here and taking that position, because I think it's very important to have that discussion of why each side of that debate thinks the way they do. So, you're representing the perspective. Okay, look at the jobs that will be created. Every technological advance that we've seen for the last several hundred years has been accompanied with opening new jobs, which were usually better jobs, and created opportunities. There's a lot of discussion that says this time is very, very different, and we can get into why. But in the past, if we think here, oh, when tractors came out, it replaced a lot of farmhands. but somebody had to go build those tractors and somebody had to go maintain the tractors. And then we needed to have fuel stations to provide fuel for the tractors. And so there was a lot of jobs created. When computers came along, we had the same thing. Computers replaced a lot of mundane office work, but at the same time, somebody had to build those computers. Somebody had to train the people on how to use them, and so forth and so on. So again, we had a ton of new jobs being created. The argument this time is that we're not replacing a function, but we're sort of replacing the what humans can do in general. So in other words, the ability to think, or with the robots, the actual ability to do things, or even the manufacturing of robots. We see in China that, for example, they one of the largest producer of cell phones, smartphones, and Xiaomi producing something like a cell phone every second has no humans working. It's a lights out factory. And now there's a car factory coming online that totally assembles and builds the cars without human intervention. And we know Amazon is the newest warehouses there have almost no people working in them. So there's a lot of discussion on whether if a new job is created, such as we saw with the prompt engineering, that was initially 2.5 years ago. Everybody was saying prompt engineering. Wow, that's the job. Look at this ad for $335,000 a year for a prompt engineer. But we see today most prompt engineering is done by AI. So we'll look into that further a little later this show, and it's something here we really need to talk about in every one of these discussions that we have. So thank you, Sid, for bringing it up. Make sure as we get to the end that we don't end the meeting without coming back and talking about that issue. Okay, a couple of things that came up that I think are going to be very significant. One of them is with regards to avatars. When we talk about the AI in the home and how it, let's say, might take make it possible for shut-ins to all of a sudden be connected to the world. The idea that you've got your screen there with your avatar on it that talks to an elderly person and maybe keeps them in touch with their relatives, plays games with them, and does tasks. Maybe as we get to Uber Eats, that's the service that delivers food to people. I just, as I said, got access to Alexa Plus. Does everybody here, is everybody familiar with Alexis from Amazon, the home speaker, the smart speaker you just talk to?
No, I'm ashamed to say I'm
Yeah,
not.
yes.
Okay, well, at any rate, here, what it is, it's a little speaker type device. I thought I had one right around here. Let's see. Uh, no, not it. No. No. Okay. I thought I might have one that I could just show you, but it's in the case of the ones I have, it's just like a little ball that sits in a couple of rooms. And so you just ask it anything, talk to it anything. Well, until now, it was primarily good for, could you set a timer for 6 minutes so I cook
Yeah.
my egg to the right, get it cooked, or can you add this to my shopping list, or can things like that. But you could also ask it simple questions like what's the weather going to be and
Yeah.
things like that. Okay.
It
Uh,
is I just want to say we have one. It's like a little bit of a bigger hockey puck kind of
yeah.
thing. And I asked it a question one time and it answered nicely. And then my husband asked the question the day later and it says, "Good morning, Glenn." And then it answers the question. And so I asked it, I said, "Alexa, why were you so courteous to Glenn?" It says, "Oh, he paid my bill." And I was like, what?
I have exactly the same experience. It always greets me by name if I talk to it, but it never greets my wife by name.
No.
Yeah. So, but as of 2 days ago, all of a sudden, it says, "Oh, I got a new voice and I have new capabilities. I'm Alexa Plus." And so Alexa Plus has AI built into it, whereas the previous one had very rudimentary AI. But this one, actually, you can have serious conversations with it, and you don't have to go and say Alexa every time. Once you say Alexa to wake it up, as long as you don't leave a longer pause, you just talk back and forth. But on top of that, it says, "Oh, by the way, I've connected Uber. You want an Uber? You need an Uber? Just tell me and I'll get the Uber for you. If you want this delivered, food delivered or whatnot, just tell me what food you want and I'll do that. You want something bought? Just tell me what you want and I'll tell you what it'll cost and whatnot. And you just tell me, go ahead and I'll buy it for you."
Oh. Well,
So
my husband tend to ask it if I'm a pain in the ass or something, and she's very, very courteous at saying, "I don't know that answer." So,
But the bottom line here, I think I'm trying to get to, is that it's now agentic. It can now actually do tasks, and it's when you're trying to set it up, it's got a whole bunch of tasks that it's working on to add that you're going to be able to uh, do. Oh, it'll already book flights for you. And plan a travel. It's connected to Fodor's travel agency things. So it's got all these connections to these different vendors and services that are built in, so you can actually have it be your agent representing you in the discussion with the travel agency, with the store, because you can say, I don't, I need to get um, some kind of a Wi-Fi connector or something like that, but I don't know which one. Hey, go out there and talk to the different companies, find out what's good, and tell me about it. So we're seeing that, and as I mentioned, Google for Home, which was the Google Assistant, which worked the same as Alexa did, is coming this month. So we're going to see similar capabilities. Oh, I know another thing. I use Alexa here to turn my lights on and off and stuff like that in my living room. But setting it up, you got to go in and do a whole bunch of manual things to set up these smart connections and so forth. Now you can just tell it, oh, just hey, set up a timer for this. Go and turn and sundown, turn the lights on, and all those things you would have had to manually set up. You can now just tell it, do this for me. So, in addition, so we're seeing that on the smart devices. We're seeing here on the the avatars, because now imagine here that you've got that smart device at home, but it's not just something you can talk to, but it's something that you can see, and it's something that can push any kind of knowledge to you that you're interested in. Again, going back here to the grandmother that's home alone, can't get out and around. This can be a true companion that you can do for so much. If you're somebody who's a student and you're trying to learn, the ability to do this and the ability to have that persona that you're seeing there, but not only that you're seeing, but that can show you stuff, can be significant. So I think what I'll do is let me share something here. Um, let's see which one. Okay, so this is the avatar. Okay, this is a 20 minutes, so it's a little bit longer, but I think you'll find it interesting. Pay special attention to the things, because not everything he's talking about, this is the CEO, I think, of Synthesia, but not everything he's talking about is just avatars. Uh, uh, so I don't know exactly why they fit in the way they do, but in talking about how you can interact with YouTubes, how you can, there's a whole bunch of stuff that he puts into this. So I think it's worth the while to, even though it's a little longer, to listen to him. So let me get it started. Can everybody see that the introducing Synthesia 3.0? Everybody seeing?
Yes, I can.
Welcome everyone to Synthesia 3.0. I want to start off with a crazy idea. 5 years from now, you'll never just watch a video again. When we invent new technology as humans, we always end up experimenting and inventing new media formats that are native to those technologies. Take the first website, for example. It looked exactly like a newspaper, but on a screen. It was literally just a page of text. That's all we could imagine at the time. Then, as time went on, we invented new web technologies that enabled for much richer experiences. Real-time updates, animations, video streaming, personalized feeds, and so much more. All of a sudden, the page wasn't just something you read anymore. It became something you could truly interact with. It became a different medium than a newspaper altogether. Now, if we look at video, it's barely changed since the first TV broadcast in the 1930s. It's almost 100 years later, and it's still exactly the same. The format is still a one-way broadcast that's recorded once and played back the same way to everyone. You can't interact with it, and that's the way video has always been. But for the first time in history, AI is changing video significantly, and it's happening right in front of our eyes. First, we can now generate content with AI in seconds. And it really is as easy as just typing. We can create images, videos, speech, anything, and it feels extremely lifelike and photorealistic. Secondly, with tools like ChatGPT and other large language models, we've really invented a new type of intelligence. Computers can now reason with us and have conversations. It's like you always have a tutor by your side that can help you with all different kinds of tasks in your life. What if we could combine these two types of AI? What could we create? What if we could make amazing content that's not just static, but it's kind of like having a real conversation? That is what Synthesia 3.0 is all about, pushing the boundaries of the video format with AI. And today, I'm excited to introduce you to video agents, the first step towards video becoming a two-way conversation. Video agents can talk, listen, and act in real time.
Sorry about that. I just wanted to.
They can run training role plays, screen candidates, guide customers, and do so much more. And beyond just conversations, agents can share contextual visual elements like graphs, images, and videos, just like you would in a live presentation with your team, enabling it to replace hundreds of repetitive processes. Video agents are not a standalone feature. You'll be creating them right inside the Synthesia editor, so there's no learning curve. You can literally embed one in any video with just a few clicks. I want to show you an example now, and then we're going to do all the details at the end.
Interesting. I have to run to my meeting now, but I'm curious about pricing.
No problem. Before you go, let's put a follow-up conversation on the calendar.
Here's a summary of your performance. 1. Pitching the product. You described Revcast quickly and clearly. Score 9 out of 10. 2. Leading with value. Your communication focused on the feature, not the value. Score 5 out of 10.
Before we get into video agents, let's have a look at all the new capabilities we're bringing to the Synthesia platform. First, let's look at the improvements we're making to our avatars. As you know, body language makes up for more than half of our communication. And with the release of our proprietary Express 2 models, our avatars have never been more engaging or felt more real. This new avatar model combines facial expressions and lip sync with natural hand and body gestures.
Before, we were locked to the frame. We couldn't move our hands or truly show emotion. As of today, boom! We can finally express ourselves fully. We've got hands and body control.
Express 2 converts script into performance your audience can feel.
See? We move with purpose so the message sticks. See us in action right here.
Your ideas are brilliant. Let's talk about your emotions. Share your brilliance in the comment section below.
Please sign the document in this section.
Real speaker body language is now unlocked, making your videos more engaging than ever.
We're also adding the next level.
What do you think about that? Let's just stick to this ability here, the reality, the realism related to these avatars. What are your thoughts on the progress that's been made there?
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think I think
Yes.
I said I think it's unbelievable. Amazing. It's just these actually are not real people. This is actually
Yep.
animated.
Yep.
Um
Yep.
and what
Avatars.
I like is the that is able to create uh like performance review, and it gives them a
Yeah.
score and things like that. So tell us more about how do we what is do we have like a trial
Well,
version, or is it
I'm
available
going to
for?
let him continue to explain
Ah,
how you can get started and use this. And keep in mind, this is just one. This is Synthesia. HeyGen we're going to look at a live demo with HeyGen in just a minute. But the idea here is the review that you're talking about, the performance review. The review part was the human is doing his speaking, and they're evaluating his speaking. The evaluation of what the you're speaking, that we could have done without the avatar. But being able to have an avatar speak to you makes the conversation feel much realer. So that's the avatar piece of it. Okay, let me continue.
One of
Oh, go ahead.
one of the comment I was going to make is it seems like we happen to like ourselves. So the more humanistic they're becoming, the more we approve it.
Yes, that is that's very true. I was involved in a study when automated teller machines came out, the ATMs, and we were the first to deploy it in Switzerland at the time as on a nationwide scale. And there was the feeling, the first survey we did people said, no, I don't want to use that because I like it that when I go to my teller in my local bank, my teller greets me by name. It knows who I am. And so they really appreciated that personal touch, if you would. It turns out it only took about 6 months, and we did another survey because in the beginning there was long lines still waiting to go to the human teller, and nobody was going to the ATM, to the machines. 6 months later, there were lines of people waiting to get to the ATM, and nobody was going to the human teller. And we did another survey to understand what happened. And what we found on the second one was that it liked the anonymity of the ATM. It doesn't need any human to know its business, their business,
Right.
in the bank. So it was interesting to see how that flip took place in just about 6 months. Okay, let's let him continue here and get a better sense because I think some of the really exciting pieces are yet to come.
Avatar customization inside Synthesia. You'll now be able to create entirely new avatars with a single prompt and place them into any environment you'd like. The lighting, depth, and perspective look so real that they blend in naturally as if they were filmed on location. You can prompt them in an office, on the beach, or a construction site, really anywhere you'd like. You will also prompt an outfit to match that scene. Imagine a financial advisor talking to you in a suit in an office on Wall Street, or a certified scuba instructor showing you the seas in his wetsuit. Another amazing update is that you can now prompt B-roll footage of your avatar, demonstrating a task or taking a specific action, like walking, driving, cooking, or anything else you can imagine. By the beginning of next year, we'll also make it much easier to create personal avatars. Rather than having to upload a video, you can just upload a single image and have access to all the same customization features. The latest updates.
What do you think about the ease at what he was showing here? How with just a text, You can either use a picture and say start from this picture and have that the person in that picture being my avatar, but you can just start with just describing a little text and it will create a person that reflects what you described in your text, and then that ability to change what the person is doing, the background where they're at, how they're dressed, their mannerisms, all of that can be done with just text or description. Uh, that is about as easy as he showed it there to do that. Thoughts on that, anyone?
It's pretty amazing.
Mhm. Okay, well, we'll continue.
Oh,
Yeah.
Bill, I think I actually was thinking about that, about specifically the same thing about because deepfake, am I using that correct?
Yes,
Is
deepfakes.
there are some people that are impersonating you.
Yes.
I mean, not me in particular, but a person is
Yeah.
impersonating, and so that it got me real worried because, especially if you, I mean, the person handles a lot of projects, and somebody
Yeah.
can impersonate and contact somebody
Yeah.
else.
Yeah. No, you're
So,
actually right. There is now a tool or service out there that can tell you of an avatar, whether it's the real person or it's a fake.
mm,
It looks for things like the little micro twitches that we as humans don't even recognize, don't even see in your face or other things. Are they in sync, for example, with what the person is saying? Because if a person's speaking naturally, there will be certain mannerisms that aren't even noticeable that go along with the rhythm of what's being spoken or whatnot. So, yes, there are tools that'll help us do that. But if you're just the person receiving it, we know there's been many cases now where a elderly person will get a call from somebody claiming to be their grandchild, saying they're in trouble and they need money right away or whatever. So we know there is fraud out there. Hopefully, these detection tools are going to be built into some of the services so that it will immediately warn you. Just like on my smartphone now, whenever a call comes in, my smartphone will automatically tell me this is suspected spam, and it will screen the call for me to figure out what's going on and if it's worth my time to talk to them. Okay, let's see what
I
he's
have one
saying.
more question, Bill.
Yes.
Let's just say you're sent one of these videos for, let's just say, business purposes or
Yeah.
something. And let's just say maybe someone wants to show a home to sell or
Hmm.
what have you. Would this prompt and say, before the video starts, this is an AI generated video?
There's a lot of places where they're pushing regulation that you have to declare. Not so much in the video because this is new, but an example in the voice. If you're doing a voice call, you know, we know in the last political rounds there were politicians who set up their voice in different languages and called people to speak to them in their language and so forth, but it was all phony. Supposedly, those are now all supposed to tell you, hey, this is a robot or whatever on that. Whether everybody is going to honor that, I don't know. But you spoke to the point of a person trying to show a home, a real estate agent trying to show somebody a home and do a
Because
walkthrough.
that could, you know,
Yeah. Jerica?
what are the preventative things for fraud for that? Or even, let's just say like a project in Liberia or
Yeah.
something, and you're not even there.
Yes. Yeah. No, again, it comes down to either we're going to have the tools that do the detection to say this is likely a fraud, but some of them are hard because sometimes legitimate people are using the technologies to for efficiency and sometimes it's somebody using it for fraud. So taking your real estate example there, somebody says, "Hey, let me walk you through the home." To have it so that the person who's showing you the home is literally walking with you and you're seeing them and you can turn to them and you can point at something in the walkthrough or ask about something and it's just like they're right with you answering you. That is going to be a great boon to real estate companies on efficiencies, for example, and that could apply to so many things. I believe here there is in Kensington Station, I think in London, there is a supermarket type store, and there's a big screen when you go in with an avatar that greets you, asks what you're looking for, and directs you to where you'll find what you're looking for. And it's an avatar because it doesn't know what you're going to ask for, so it's generating its response, and yet it looks like you're talking to a real shop clerk there in the store. Doctors, this is going to be something where you're going to see with the telepresence robots, these ones on the wheels that can navigate around, or a manager, let's say, that's visiting their production site on another continent in China, let's say, at the production site, they got three or four of these or telepresence robots with a screen in there, but the screen in the future is not going to just have your picture or text on it, but it's going to really look like it's you through a window. So there's going to be huge potential use cases for this technology. Every website you're going to go to in the near future, you're going to be greeted. There's going to be a personal assistant greeting you when you get to the website that'll walk you through to whatever you're looking for or help you find it or tell you about the pros and cons of different products you might be interested in or whatever. You could be rest assured within 1 to 2 years, Amazon's going to have that, but pretty much everybody else is going to have that technology as well. And if we think here that the in-person real retail has suffered because of online, just imagine what it's going to be like when this is there. Or, as I said, with Uber Eats, the food services from the restaurants. If you are able to just say, "Hey, Alexa, connect me with restaurant XYZ," and then you've got a person there on the screen and says, "How can I help you?" And you're able to go and talk to them, walk through the menu, have them explain to you the pros and cons of the different meals, and you place your order with a person. And you didn't have to type anything. You didn't have to learn any special interfaces. A lot of people who are intimidated by computers and keyboards, that's all going to go away. And so the use of these types of tools is going to skyrocket. Of course, you've already got Uber Eats. I don't know if you've seen the on several college campuses, they have the robot delivery already in progress. And that, of course, is just going to explode alongside the ability for you to be placing orders. Okay, let's continue.
Open a new world of creative possibilities. And I can't wait to see what you're going to make with them. As we get ready to release these personal avatars that look just like you, the importance of our voice cloning technology has never been more important. Most voice cloning tools force American, British, Australian accents. They let you turn your text into your voice, but you lose the nuance of your accent, your dialect, and your rhythm. Up until now. After 5 years of customer feedback, we're excited to launch Express Voice, our proprietary model that perfectly preserves your tone of voice, including all the subtle nuances. So your personal avatar doesn't just look like you, it also sounds exactly like you. In just a few seconds of audio, we can perfectly capture your unique accent. Let's hear a few examples.
Ah, Marseille. You know the city. She's not like Paris or Nice. She has her own character, her own soul, and this is what makes her so special.
Ah, Marseille. You know the city?
She is not like Paris or Nice. She has her own character, her own soul, and this is what makes her so special. Ah, Marseille. You know this city. She is not like Paris or Nice. She has her own character, her own soul, and this is what makes her so special.
Today, 70% of online business content is in English, yet only 19% of the world speaks it fluently. 3 years ago, we introduced the simplest way to translate your Synthesia videos with literally one click. Since then, millions of videos have been translated into hundreds of languages. Our customers love the Synthesia feature so much that they told us they wanted to translate their existing content libraries too. Webinars, product demos, and other videos they've shot throughout the years. For decades, subtitles were the only solution for this. But the reality is that people want to listen, not read. And the other alternative of hiring a translation agency, voice actor, and booking a recording studio is just very slow and very expensive. That's why we've recently introduced AI dubbing in Synthesia. Now, you can simply upload a video and it will automatically translate into any language and localize it while keeping the original voice and lip sync perfectly intact. The accuracy is incredible. But there are times when you want to make a small edit or adjustment in the translation. Find a synonym for a word or paraphrase to make it land better in a different language. For that reason, we've developed secure editing to ensure the integrity of your message without compromising on the quality of your video. Since the release, results have been pretty amazing. Let's check out an example.
Hi, I'm Anton, Principal Product Manager here at Synthesia. Ich bin jetzt seit fast 2 Jahren bei Synthesia. Inizialmente mi occupavo della creazione di video. 简单地讲，就牺牲方法点养领你开内容。Je cherche comment faire en sorte que votre contenu parle la langue de votre public.
All right, so now we've advertised.
Okay, just think of that for a moment here, that you make a video, and when you now want it dubbed into a lot of different languages, it's very easy to do that, and it makes the lip syncing be the lip syncing of the new language that it's being dubbed into, and that it can have huge potentials that I can just see so many uses for that. Any comments on that?
Almost as good as Willie Manelli. Remember them?
Oh yes, Billy Manila. Yeah. That those for those that don't know, that was a music group. I think it came out of Germany, and the thing is, they found out that they didn't sing any of the songs live. It was all dubbed.
They won the awards too, remember?
Yes, yes. Yeah, they
All
fooled
right.
everybody.
Yeah.
So, but this here, I can think if you're doing a tutorial and you want that tutorial to be available to a lot of people, a lot of countries in Africa, a lot of developing countries, especially in the lower grades, the kids speak a lot of different languages, and so it's very expensive to go and say, okay, I need to create this video in so many different languages. Now this can be so easy to you make your tutorial and then make it available in a lot of different languages. Yes, Joan.
Yeah, so we have a course from the foundation called Internet Governance, and we've translated the content into 5 different languages, international languages. And I can tell you, it was quite a feat to do that because you have to get all the experts that have it. So if you used this approach,
Mhm.
how you would still have to have it reviewed by those people who speak that language, right?
Mm, if you're talking about to know was the translation
If it's
accurate and
correct, like that's always my question is the validation of everything, like, whether it's a research or the doing. So, for example, we developed the course in English first and
Mhm.
ran it for 3 years, then we did it in Spanish and then French, or sorry, French, Spanish. and then Bangla. I forgot what the other ones are, but um, we had people from those countries reviewed them to
Yeah.
make sure that it was accurate.
Yes. Yeah. And today, if you're using something like ChatGPT and you're using advanced voice, you can flip between languages while you're talking. Now, I can't speak about a lot of these languages where, there's 6,000 languages spoken in the world.
Yeah,
Probably half of them don't even have a written form.
yeah,
And some of them are spoken only by a few thousand people.
yeah,
So, but for the top several hundred languages at least, with ChatGPT, it's it's very accurate. The translations in Google Translation as well. This has improved so much over the recent years. Um, However, Alexa Plus, I noticed here when I said, okay, I want you to switch, it's still using an old-fashioned method that it takes the transcript of what you say in English, it translates it into the other language, and then they have a utility that comes along and does text to speech. Now, that is horrendous in Alexa Plus. You just fall over laughing because it's producing it creates the written text, but it's producing the written text as if it was English.
yeah.
So
And
it's
that was like we didn't use ChatGPT or any of that for the
yeah,
languages, but we did use Google
translate.
Translate
Yeah,
for some of them. But it also had issues. So but it still took a people for each language we had three or four people review it.
yeah,
And and they caught all the translation
yeah.
issues.
They think
So
today the thing, especially is with idioms, for example, that we see, for example, in Germany, if a person from North Germany goes down to Munich area, Bavaria, into the countryside, they don't have a clue. They don't understand what the people are saying.
yeah,
We had a case. I was working in Switzerland for 3 years, but my family was living near Frankfurt. Now we speak German at home, so my wife feels totally at home, and the Zurich area is Swiss German. Well, they came down over the summer vacation to spend that we'd be together over the summer vacation, and we rented a apartment in a farm that was outside the city, and they only spoke the Swiss German. And the wife of the farmer came over and to talk to the my wife, and she didn't understand a word he was saying. So even though it's the
wow.
same language, sometimes with the idioms it's different. But I think today you can take those videos, for example, and put it into either Google Gemini. Google Gemini will actually listen to the videos, watch the video and listen to it and can critique if the words are the proper usage words because you can be grammatically correct but it's not the everyday usage, and so it's going to sound funny to people listening to it. But I think today you really can get around that and automate that so that the process would be very, very quick. And then maybe you want to have just a review or listen to the final result to see does anything stand out. But it would just be a tiny fraction of what it would have taken in the past to have multiple people review the translation, and
Yeah,
then you've got to say, do I get it doesn't have the lip sync and things like that. So it's not natural.
yeah.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, Google, the corporation, actually sponsored our program.
Well, keep in mind, like all of these things, it depends when, because just literally in the last 48 hours, Google has made some major updates. There was their agent builder called Opal that they released around 3 months ago. Well, actually, they released it earlier, but they really pushed it out to the public about 3 months ago. Just in the last 48 hours, they released a major update to that. And if we have time, I'll show a little bit of this. But these things are just changing so fast. Uh, about 4 days ago, 5 days ago, oh, maybe it's a week ago now, that I saw that there was a new feature coming out that you can now assign a persona to Notebook LM for the chat mode. And so you can say, I want you to be a serious business person. I want you to be a student or whatever it is, and give it some custom instructions on how you want it to behave. And then I see here 2 days ago, they added something called magic something there in the chat mode, which I haven't had time to even look at yet. But these things, it's just moving that fast. Okay, let's continue on this because I really want to show you some other stuff.
That move like you, sound like you, and speak your language. So what's next? Video has never been easier to create. But at Synthesia, we keep looking for ways to make the experience even faster and even more intuitive. Last year, we introduced our AI video assistant to help you create a draft of your video in seconds. You simply upload a document, share a link, or give it a prompt. Today, the majority of videos in Synthesia are made with our AI video assistant, and we've had tons of amazing feedback. It's been incredible to see how much this feature has improved efficiency for our customers. So we naturally wanted to make it 100 times better. And so we did. We call it Copilot. Copilot is like having a professional video editor by your side with a full understanding of Synthesia and all of its features. You simply tell Copilot what you want to make, and it'll get to work. First, by writing a clear script. Then, by suggesting visual elements to match it, like avatars, quizzes, B-roll, music, and so much more. You can also give Copilot access to your company's knowledge bases, documents, presentations, as well as brand guidelines, so it can make sure everything you create looks and feels on brand. And to make Copilot even more powerful, we've partnered with leading AI companies like Google and OpenAI, so you have unlimited access to the most advanced models for video, audio, and text, expanding your creative possibilities even more. Copilot is fast and intuitive and really just a lot of fun. I can't wait for you to try it out. As mentioned earlier, AI will change video as a format and move us from one-way broadcasting to much more engaging experiences. A few months ago, we introduced interactivity in Synthesia with features like branching scenarios and call to actions. In a short amount of time, they've already had an amazing impact, improving retention and engagement by up to 70%. Today, I'm excited to share that we're expanding this functionality. Soon, you'll also be able to add quizzes and hotspots, embed third-party tools like calendars, polls, and feedback forms directly inside your video with just a few clicks. Imagine onboarding that collects feedback with a survey inside the video, or product demo that ends with a calendar link to schedule a meeting. This opens up a whole new way to experience.
Think about that for a moment that, okay, in a YouTube video or a video that's part of the introduction when you go to a website, and the thing is talking to you, but it can also ask you questions that are the equivalent of having them fill out a quiz or give you feedback or questionnaires and capturing it and into a data format here. All the use cases that could support. Think of this that you have a doctor's visit and you go and the nurse practitioner or the nurse comes and captures your vitals before you see the doctor. This could be you're going into a room, there's an avatar there, and it goes through the questions with you. And there's just so many different potentials here.
Video.
Hello and welcome to your interactive onboarding. First, choose the tools you need to start working. Okay, request sent. So what's next? Let's go through some security basics. Well done. Now, do you want to sign policies or set up intros? Who would you like to meet first? Nice. When would you like to meet Joe? Awesome. Meeting booked.
But as much as these interactive elements have improved the experience, it still doesn't feel as real as talking to someone. You're still just clicking a button, which is what led us to take video to the next level. With video agents, video becomes a two-way conversation. An agent can be inserted at any point in your video to begin a real-time conversation with the viewer. And you can combine them with any other type of content, like static video and interactive scenes. Adding one in your video is simple. You just go to the editor, add an agent scene, and you instruct it in natural language. In order to be the most effective, they need to have context around your company and your processes. So we made it super easy for our customers to connect them to existing knowledge sources like SharePoint, Google Drive, CRMs, LMS, and so much more. You can also upload specific knowledge in PDFs. You can share web links or PowerPoints that all help give your agent additional context. That way, they're operating with a full understanding of your business and can easily automate and scale repetitive processes for you, anytime and in any language. You can enable agents to ask questions, simulate role plays, run onboardings, trainings, and so much more. But the value is not just in watching a video or even having conversations in the moment. It's in capturing real-time data, sending it back to your internal systems, and then taking action based on it. Agents will create a whole new category of business data that will move us from guessing what works to knowing what works.
Okay, let's do this. Hey there. Do you have a couple minutes for me to tell you about our new RevCast product?
Sure, but I do have a meeting soon.
No problem. I'll be quick. RevCast is an AI forecasting engine that plugs directly into your finance systems. It analyzes your pipeline, performance, and market signals to project revenue.
I see. How would Revcast work with my current systems like Salesforce?
Well, it has APIs that plug right into your CRM. So it can give real predictions based on performance and what ifs.
Right. But we operate in a highly regulated environment. How do you ensure compliance with data privacy and security?
We designed RevCast with all of that in mind.
Interesting. I have to run to my meeting now, but I'm curious about pricing.
No problem. Before you go, let's put a follow-up conversation on the calendar.
Here's a summary of your performance. 1. Pitching the product. You described Revcast quickly and clearly. Score 9 out of 10. 2. Leading with value. Your communication focused on the feature, not the value. Score 5 out of 10. 3. Addressing buyer concern. You didn't mention SOC 2 compliance or empathize with customers' privacy concerns. Score 3 out of 10.
So to recap, what is a video agent? An agent is interactive. It engages like a human. It's built on LLMs. It's not built on decision trees. The responses are contextual to your business, not generalized. It remembers past inputs from a user rather than starting from scratch every single time. It's actionable and sends data out. It's not just a passive video. And it works right inside Synthesia. It's not a standalone product. Agents are the future of business communication, and it starts right here. They will revolutionize the way we interact with video, and I can't wait to see what you create with them. Let me know in the comments what you're really excited to build with video agents. Up until now, many of you have used Synthesia videos with third-party tools to create full training courses that combine video with quizzes, text, learner.
Yes, Paula.
Oh, Do you know, can you explain the difference between an LLM and decision tree, which is
Uh,
what they use in this AI?
yeah. Yeah, decision trees is something that out of old technology. So you sort of can say if this if it's less than 50, go to the next item is item A. If it's more than 50, go to B or assign this value to things. And then you can go and say if you get and you go to B, B has another question and says, well, if it's this, go to C, otherwise go to L. And so it becomes a tree of if then else questions. And that is when you hard code. So you hard coded and said, if this condition is met, you do this, otherwise do that. And if it's another condition, do this, otherwise do that. There were two versions of that. One where an if gave you two choices, and a thing called a case statement, which you could have any number of saying, if it's one of these values, go to the choice that's related to that value. That was all hand coded. You had a hard code what the choices were and what you did in response. The LLM is just a large language model. ChatGPT is a large language model. Gemini is a large language model. These just understand the natural language. So you speak to it and it understands the natural language. Well, when you're speaking to it and you ask it a question, it will go and look at the information that it's available to it, which could be everything in the whole internet worldwide, or it could be just what's in a particular document that you told it to use. And it will, based on that. So if you have standard operating procedures, SOPs, and you're talking to it and say, what am I supposed to do now? If this is the case, then it will use that. So it's semi-intelligent, not that it created new ideas unless you asked it to do that, but otherwise it will go find in the various documentation what the right answer is. So if you're technical support customer service, for example, and you've got the user manual and the technical manuals are digitized there, your large language model can say, what's your problem? And it says, oh, this is my problem. And it's going to go and do the lookup in those manuals for you to say, oh, here's what you need to do. Does that
Oh,
explain?
okay. Oh, yeah, definitely. But what it means is that computational thinking uses the decision tree model because I recall 2 years ago I did one of my students for a science fair did a computational thinking project, and he used the decision tree. This if rolls the dice, you wanna put this kind of three questions. If the dice is number two, go to this. Number
Yeah.
three, go to that. Go back in that. So computational thinking is actually all computational approach. In another word, because I was thinking, oh wow, this is interesting. I thought we were using something very advanced, but it wasn't
Yeah,
actually because
yeah, no,
the
yeah,
LLM model is different.
yeah. LLM is just unstructured data. Decision tree is structured. This decision tree is predefined everything. The LLM, you say it should be in all that documentation out there, but maybe it's not. Maybe it goes and it says, I can't find the answer. Maybe we didn't cover that use case in our standard operating procedure because it never happened before. This is when you think of self-driving cars. When we began, we had a few hundred hardwired if then else. If something is in front of the car, hit the brakes, right? If something's coming in from the right side, turn to the left. So there was just a few cases. Now we've got tens of thousands. We're getting down almost to the point that if somebody throws a rock off a bridge and your sensors detect it, swerve to avoid the rock, but don't hit any other cars near you, type of thing. So it's much more complex. That's the way all these things develop. The advantage of the LLMs is you don't have to grow the number of decisions you can cover, the number of scenarios you could cover. You don't have to grow those one at a time, one at a time, one at a time, because you let the sensors observe what's happening in the real world, and then it codifies that. So, for example, in the self-driving cars, the sensors are capturing all the information that's happening around the car and even within the car. And if something happens and the user, the driver, does something, it records, oh, when this situation happened, the driver did this. But then it also records, was that a good result or a bad result? Did it result in a crash or not? And then it adds that to say, oh, the next time I get that scenario, then we should turn to the left. Right? So that's sort of the large language model enables new scenarios to come up, and you try to answer those. And every time we're observing what's going on around us, and we see what happened, and it says, "Oh, that was a good result," or "No, that was a bad result." All that gets captured into the large language model. So the next time that scenario comes up, the odds are that it will provide a good answer out of the large language model.
Yeah, but in the sense, it still was very good because this is a student that was um 9 years old, and it still did an excellent project. So it's actually very good because it keeps him thinking in that direction, like having
absolutely.
choices and making decisions that way.
Do you know there's a young girl 9 years old from Pakistan that occasionally attends some of the sessions we have there, that she could hold a university class on artificial intelligence. She knows
How
that
old
stuff
is she?
so well.
How old? 9?
9 years old, yeah.
No? Oh, okay.
9. So, and actually there's a 7-year-old that attended one of
Yeah,
those
this kid
sessions.
actually too. This kid
Yeah.
was very brilliant too.
Yeah.
I was unbelievable. In the year before, he did a NASA project, so it was actually very, very good.
Yeah. Okay, let's continue, wrap this one up, and then I want to show you some live stuff.
Analytics, and much more. In the age of AI, we believe that learning will change dramatically. We're going to move on from focusing only on knowledge transfer to AI-driven skill development with practice and feedback built directly into the experience. To take full advantage of all the new tools available for instructional designers, we need a new paradigm for workplace learning. And that's why we're introducing courses in Synthesia. Courses bring together modular interactive learning videos, including avatars, video agents, and interactive elements like quizzes and branching, all in one place. But the real breakthrough lies in the data. Instead of just tracking views and completions, courses let you measure something far more meaningful: understanding and skill acquisition. Now you could define performance outcomes like conflict resolution, active listening, or negotiation, and measure how effectively learners are developing them. And this is just the beginning. AI will only continue to reshape the future of learning, and courses is the first step in that direction.
Welcome to Drignov's Safe Equipment Operation Training. Let's get started. Your first line of defense is personal protective equipment. Select the items that you believe are mandatory. That's right. Goggles, gloves, boots, and helmets keep you safe. Let's step onto the factory floor. Click on the highlighted areas to see which risks are present. Now, let's talk about emergencies. The fire alarm rings. What's the first thing you do? Correct. Evacuating is always the safest first step. Now it's your turn. In this role play, you're the operator, and I'm your supervisor. Ready? Let's begin.
A century ago, the first TV broadcast changed the way we communicate. And with AI, we're going to change it all once again. Content is going to move from being broadcast and static to being interactive. It's going to help us learn much faster, engage more, and understand better. At Synthesia, we're incredibly excited about this new future, and we look forward to building it with you. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Okay, so there we saw with Synthesia some of the things that are coming with the avatars and the ease of making these. And we have to think the implications, as I mentioned, that you'll be going to websites. There's going to be a greeter there that's going to be your personal guide through that website to talk to you. And it's not something like your telephone where it says, hey, click 1 for this, click 2 for that, click 3 for this. It's going to be something that's just going to be talking to you. What do you want to know? Where are you going? Now, the initial ones, they're going to find people that'll just go and use full chat GPT behind it or something like that. And we're going to get still a lot of hallucinations and stuff. But in a very short time, you're going to see that these are going to be what we call SLM, small language models, because they're focused. They have a narrow focus of information. So if you go to a product, it's not just going to tell you everything in the world about that and make stuff up about it. It's going to tell you what's in the file folder for that product. It'll be restricted to that, just like Notebook LM is restricted to the sources that you give it. And so you're going to find the experiences are going to be amazing. As a teacher, we had during the COVID, we had a lot of people using Zoom here for the sessions, and the teachers were giving lectures, and students were mostly in a hearing mode. But imagine every student's got a personal avatar teacher who they can now discuss everything about whatever the topic was. And the student can be pushed to be the learner, the driver of the conversation. Yes, Joan.
So I love the idea of having sort of a person avatar as a welcomer. I think, a lot of websites are, sorry, my throat is, I spoke too much yesterday. A lot of websites are sort of flat, for a better word, or they have the uploaded videos from YouTube and so. But how do you take this avatar and like the demonstration showed, you could direct a user to the subject matter. Like, do you do it? Like, how is it integrated?
Yes, yes. They basically here, when you go to a lot of websites, it'll have like almost the menu, or it might have boxes on the front of the menu. You click on
Yeah.
one and it will start to play a video, or it will take you to another
Yeah.
page or whatever. And it'll do the same thing. The avatar will understand that. And this is with the agent technology, where we look at agent technology, especially now, a lot of the phone conversations are becoming agent technologies, where you're talking to an AI, you're not talking to a person. But that person is going to branch if you say, hey, I'm looking for this, or I'm looking for that, or you ask a specific question about a certain feature, it has to go and give you the answer to that feature. So it is like it's instead of giving you a dozen choices and tell me which one you want me to go to, it's interpreting what you're saying to figure out which menu choice, if you would be the appropriate next step, and trying to give you the answer on that. But I think what might be useful here, let's take a look at let's take a look at an avatar. Let's see if we can talk to an avatar. Okay,
Bill, can I ask a question before you do that?
sure.
Have you actually used Synthesia? I mean, how proficient are you? Because I mean, I can see a lot of applications for I mean, in Costa Rica,
Yeah,
because training is very critical. I
yeah,
mean, just like I mean, introduction classes, like basically how to, because it can be in individual classes. It
right.
doesn't have to have the whole group at the same time. So
Yeah.
actually, I see a lot of possible applications
Okay,
for
let
this.
me bring another that I don't have a keyed up video on it, but I can try to describe it. If you go without the avatar, just the idea for training, somebody is being told you're doing something. I don't know. Did you see the video of the guy trying to repair his bike, his bicycle, and he's got his cell phone there with the camera pointing at him trying to fix the bicycle. And he's saying, okay, what's this part? Can I get a replacement for it? What is it? And he's just talking back and forth to a smartphone, and a smartphone sees everything he's doing. Or another one, there's a guy doing yoga poses, and the phone is watching him do the yoga poses and correcting him. You can do that there in Studio, AI Studio from Google. It's aistudio.google.com. It's free. And if you go down to the second menu choice on the left called streaming, and then to there's one choice to share a camera, one choice to share your screen. But I don't know if we're going to have time to get over to that because I've got we just started some of the things we want to walk through here. But let me take you through here these examples. This is in HeyGen, which is almost identical. Actually, maybe it's even a little bit further along than Synthesia. I like Synthesia. I've sort of been following them for a couple of years now, from when they came out with Synthesia 2. This is now Synthesia 3, and I haven't used it at all because it only came out this last week. But those are the top two. There's a lot of smaller companies that are coming up with similar things like this, but uh, I think the avatars have gotten so much better, but the interactive avatars is relatively new. And I think that's something that we're going to be seeing over the next 3 to 6 months, is we're going to see big expansion. But let's take a real example case here of we'll talk to a customer support person. So let's chat with Silas. Whoops. There. Let me see. Let me stop this share and start it again. Hmm. Can you guys hear me? Yep. Okay.
Yes.
Because this is loading very, very slow. Okay. It looks like I've got it back. Okay. Now let's try that again. Okay. I'm trying to do a, okay.
Hi there, I'm Silas, your friendly guide at HeyGen Interactive Avatar, here to help you with any questions or challenges you might have to make sure you have a smooth and enjoyable experience.
Yes, Silas. I'm trying to find out how to connect my Wi-Fi.
Hello, I'd be happy to help. To connect your Wi-Fi, go to your device's settings, then select Wi-Fi or network. Make sure Wi-Fi is turned on, then choose your network from the list and enter the password if prompted. Let me know if you need step-by-step guidance for a specific device.
Yes, can you tell me for an Android phone how to best do that?
Absolutely. To connect Wi-Fi on an Android phone, 1. Open the Settings app. 2. Tap on Network and Internet. 3. Select what Wi-Fi. 4. Turn on the Wi-Fi toggle if it's off. 5. Tap on your Wi-Fi network name. 6. Enter the password if prompted. 7. Tap to connect. If you need help with a specific Android model or run into issues, feel free to ask.
Okay, so that was one example. Let's take a look at an interviewer. Now, these are just canned demo examples. So you
Hi, I'm June from the HR
yeah,
team at HeyGen.
yeah. Hi, June.
Hi there. Thanks for connecting. I'm June, part of the HR team at HeyGen. How are you today? Ready to chat about your background and interest in joining our team?
Yes, please start.
Great. To kick things off, could you walk me through your experience with any relevant technologies or tools that are related to our engineering roles? How have you used them in your previous jobs?
Oh, I built an avatar that could fly to the moon.
That sounds fascinating. Can you tell me more about the technical aspects of that project? What technologies or frameworks did you use to create the avatar and its capabilities?
I had a couple of teddy bears help me build it.
That's a charming way to put it. It sounds like a fun project. Could you share a bit about the technical challenges you faced while working on this and how you went about solving them?
Okay, let's stop. But you can see here the latency leaves a little bit to be desired. I did try another company that was like the what was it? Uh, there was an audio tool that came out about 4 or 5 months ago that had almost zero latency, that was so realistic to talk to. And if you look at the newest advanced voice with ChatGPT, you see there's almost zero latency. So I expect that is going to be something that's going to go away very, very quickly. But anyway, this just gives you a sense of the fact that it's there and people are starting to build things that are making it possible to use these things. Um, okay, so I see Mark Henry, you were asking me about the name of the tool to try out. The two big ones is Synthesia. Synthesia.com is that's out of the UK. And I like a lot about the stuff they do. HeyGen is considered to be the leader in that market space right now. So those are the two that I would focus on. But this is the kind of thing that I would go and talk to both Claude, ChatGPT, and Perplexity and say, hey, what's the latest on interactive avatars or avatars in general? And the video that we looked at a little while ago is it's a YouTube video called Introducing Synthesia 3.0. And that's a really great video on it. And if you look that up in YouTube, you'll see other videos like that, either about Synthesia or HeyGen. And there's a couple of other players out there, but those are the big ones. I'd like to now show you something here. So we talked about avatars, and the idea is agentic avatars or avatar agents. That's going to be really hot stuff. But I talked about the fact that we're seeing stuff just sort of happening. It's just sort of popping up out there, and we're not even getting announcements of it, but all of a sudden we see it's there. And so let me see. Um, uh, um, uh, oh, okay. Here. Okay, I'm switching over to this one. Okay, I'm in ChatGPT right now, and I just said I want to do a new chat. Okay, here we go. So I'm in a new chat here, and we have this little plus sign here that says, "Oh, some things I can do in this chat mode." And you'll notice that down among these different choices, I have things where I can where to go? Okay, I can go and use Canvas, so it checks my writing. It'll even write code. I can say search the live internet. I can do study and learn. These are the ones over here under more. I can add different sources. I can do a deep research. I can add photos, files, go to my Google Drive or Microsoft OneDrive, create images. But they have this thing called agent mode. And I said, where the heck, what's that? So I looked at agent mode here, and so it gives me the opportunity to have an agent do something. So I said, huh, okay. Then let me see if I can get it and do something that's a little complicated. Go to um, the website of schooldigger.com and find the details about the 5 worst performing elementary. Boy, if I could just type, huh? Elementary schools in Toledo, Ohio. Okay, so I don't know what's going to happen because I've never tried running this one, but we will give it a shot. Uh, so we see it's thinking. So it's telling us what it's doing. Now it's navigating to School Digger. This is the website. So So it had to trick the website because the website had something there to make sure you're not a robot. So it was telling me it had to trick the website to get in, but it did. It managed to get in, and here we are. So now it's going through, and you'll notice here it's going through page to page. It's flipping around in different pages in this website, finding out information. So you'll see in the middle of the website, it's saying what it's doing on each of these steps. So here it's bringing up the Toledo elementary rankings. So it's saying, hey, this is showing the best ones. I'll find the worst one by looking at their scores.
This is a paid chat GPT for you, right?
I have the paid version. I don't know if
The $20 or the
the
$200?
$20.
I don't get this. I paid my $20 and I don't get any of this.
You're in Canada. It could be that it's because this is brand new, or at least
Okay.
I only saw it the other day. So
Okay.
it could be they roll these out geographically. So for
Oh,
example, the Google Gemini for home. I have devices for Google in almost every room in my house, and I don't have access to that yet. So,
Mm.
but a lot of people are reporting that they do.
Because what I found, to be honest, I paid it and it was just last week, the 1st of October, to go just for a month. I thought I'd try it. I don't see any difference
Oh,
in the offering.
yes, a lot of the difference is the amount, the number of cases that you can do. On this one, if you'll notice, it told me I had 38 uses left. So apparently, I don't know if that's a week or in a month, that I only can use this particular agent technology that many times on a plus version. I only have the plus version. If I had the pro version, I saw that it was unlimited. But for me right now, you can see this is my third attempt to use this thing. And So now it's collecting the details about the rankings, the standard score 2025 and so forth. But can just imagine here, I've used the School Digger a lot in the last decade or so. And I can easily spend a half a day searching through all these pages and whatnot to get the information that it's pulling out for me here. Um, and you can see this shaded in the back. Okay, so he says I got to go back a page and click on a different link uh, to get the information. Now it's going out and getting the information on the individual schools. I asked it to get me the information on the bottom 5 schools. It's identified what those schools are. So you now see it's going to Leverett Elementary School to pull out the information, and you can see shaded in the background, it's going through the page on the school, pulling out the information. And now it's going to go to Spring Elementary School, which is another one there, and pull that information out. Um, I just find this fascinating that here it is. It's pulling the Spring Elementary School. Uh, this is an incredible time saver. And supposedly you can link this together with Excel. So it'll pull all this information out and then it'll turn around and put it into an Excel spreadsheet for you. So this is Jerica, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, so Toledo, right? Pull out the bottom 5 elementary schools in Toledo. Then that's this easy.
Yes.
Okay, so now it's looking.
And according to, what we do on local measurements and things that are in our newspapers, that this is extremely accurate.
Yeah. And the thing here is to realize I could have on because we have to remember what my prompt was. My prompt was this 2.5 lines of the prompt. I could have said based on the National Education Assessment tests in the 4th grade. I could have been more specific on this. So I'm just going to let this run so you can see what it gives you on a report out of something like this. Okay, so now it found the link to the actual school. It's actually it looks like it's going to a different website to pull up information on this specific school.
It's interesting because you first told her to go to a specific website, and
Yes.
while it gets to the website, it finds necessary to search for additional information to get what you are asking for.
Exactly. Yep. And we could have done this Joan, for example, on plantings for a particular area, or are there any pests or disease that's more prevalent in a certain area? The uses that you can do for this simple thing here is pretty mind-boggling. Now, as I say, I saw this 2 days ago, 3 days ago, Thursday, yeah, 2 days ago. So it's probably within the next week or two, you'll probably have access to this as well.
Bill, is Joanne the one that was writing a book about
Yes,
gardening?
Joe.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Joanne, one time I found something and I don't have your contact. So basically I sent it to Bill and I hope Bill sent it to you. It
I
was something about gardening plot or something because I'm interested in that too. And
yeah,
perhaps one day we should just follow up on that.
yeah.
Yeah, I would love that.
Joe, maybe you can just put your contact information in the chat
Sure,
there.
thanks.
Okay, so look at what this did. This wrote a program. And from this program, it went and it created, first of all, this table. So it tells me the schools, what's the enrollment student teacher ratio, the statewide rank out of this, and its average standard score, I guess, on some kind of a test that it's doing. So here are the five schools here, then a discussion. The on all five schools have average scales below 5 on a 0 to 100 scale. So basically, they're below 5% achievement in Ohio and high chronic absenteeism. Absenteeism rates around 40 to 56% for those particular schools. The concentrated poverty, the resources it goes in. Why focusing on these schools matter? And so it went through. It did a lot. Now I could take this and say, hey, make me a prompt to do a deep research on these five schools, take that over to Gemini, for example, which I believe is the best of the deep researches right now, and have it do a deep research on that. Okay, so we saw this as an example, and I find it's pretty amazing what it's able to come up with. Um, Okay, if I had done this as just a standard response, it would have come back up here and it would have given me very specific suggestions of further research that I might want to do. And I find that's something that's really, really good in ChatGPT. Okay, so we talked about uh, uh, avatar agents. We talked a little bit about um, the agent technology in terms of results of what it can do. Because what we were just looking at is just basically it's a canned agent that's very flexible. And let's see. Oh, let's look at robots for a second because that's going to be an easy one to forget about. Um,
I wanted to say something about self-driving cars.
yes.
We don't have one, but we have the closest to it, and I didn't realize. We have a Volvo,
Hmm.
and the Volvo is if you go out of the lines, it pulls the car back.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
And if there's you're following or a car even behind you is too close to you, it informs you to be aware of it. And so, I've always like, oh, self-driving cars, but this is the car telling us.
Yep.
So in terms of safety, it's fantastic.
Yep. Yep. I'm waiting here. Um, I suspect one of the reasons why the Volvo is so good. Volvo has always been very good in safety.
Yeah,
But now, do you know where Volvo comes from?
I thought it was Germany.
Oh, no, no, no. It's Swedish.
Sorry, Sweden,
It's
Sweden.
Sweden,
Yes,
yeah.
Sweden.
yes.
But it's a Chinese company.
Is it?
Yes. China bought Volvo about 10, 15 years ago.
Oh, that's so much
Oh,
I
I
know.
didn't know that.
So
Me either.
who's where's the leading country in self-driving cars?
China, no.
China.
China. By far. By
Well,
far.
I didn't know that, but I will tell you, we bought it and I am absolutely, I can recommend. It is so safe. It is like, oh my God.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
we were
I
driving long distances this week
yeah,
and you get sometimes you get a little lazy so you're driving and it keeps the car and it makes sure you're safe.
yeah.
I never experienced a self-driving mode of it before this week.
But
And
but
Joan,
it's
does the car itself like I don't know if anyone remembers like the OnStar service in your car
Mhm.
that could alert the
Yep.
police or the fire department, and how that was kind of like an extra cost or a service that you put
No,
onto the car.
no
This
extra
comes
cost.
with it. Great.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, normally we drive the Volvo, but maybe 100 kilometers, maybe 150, but this one was more than that. And we were driving on sort of rounded valleys on because it was in the country. I couldn't believe the blooming car was almost driving itself.
Yeah. Now the thing about it
Amazing.
is these are called driver assist, not self-driving. There
Yes.
there there are
Well, it
self-driving
was good.
cars. Yeah, there
Yeah.
are self-driving cars in there are some in the US, a few in a couple of cities.
Are
Uh,
Teslas self-driving at the moment?
they can be, but you know, they just had a there's been some reports recently because if you come up, if you got it in self-driving mode and you come to a traffic or a railroad crossing where the gates would go down, there's reports that it hasn't stopped when the gates were going down and the person had to slam the brakes on. The uh, but they're getting very close. But in China, there are hundreds and hundreds of truly autonomous cars. There are no driver. And I just saw there's a truck. Don't remember where it was released. There's not even a cab anymore for the truck. It just looks like there's a big container going down the road and it's fully autonomous. So yeah, a couple of years, it definitely is going to be there. I understand we'll have about 6 or 7 cities before next June in the United States that will have self-driving cars, but the numbers are typically in the hundreds, whereas in China they're in the thousands.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you've always mentioned it, and I'm always like, come on, I'm not going to feel so safe. But
My
after this
son-in-law
week,
just bought a new Honda pickup, and we were driving on the road. He was driving, and you know, he had put into the map where we were going, and it had to take an exit and then turn left and cross over the highway, and it went on a sharp curve. And he just took his hands off the wheel and let it go, and it drove us right around the curve. No problem whatsoever. Stayed in lane. But it's coming. And you know, as we get older, those are things that are very appreciative, is that it keeps track of what's going on. Okay,
yeah.
so I want to show you here, Figure, in case you haven't been following. Figure is probably the most advanced robot in the US that is actually working in factories, doing work in factories. Whoops, I turned the share off. I wanted to turn that on. Um, Figure. Okay, just. Oh.
Is there sound on this?
Is there sound for this video?
Yeah, the only sound so far is music. Now, this is apparently a true test house, um, where they basically just told this thing, the robot, clean up, and it's figuring out, well, what the heck does that mean? What do I have to do? So this is not an animation. This is this robot actually doing these things and figuring out what does it need to do.
So what happens if it gets wet?
I would assume that it knows that there's certain aspects of wet that are okay and certain aspects of wet that it needs to avoid.
I don't like the fact it has a mask and you can't see a face.
It's the ice.
Yeah, maybe. I guess I just think seeing somebody's eyes is
Yes.
I'm
Beauty is
wondering
in
here
the
if
eye
it
of the
had known
beholder.
to separate out the dark and light on its own.
yeah, I guess if it's male or female, maybe. So, so my husband puts everything in he's not allowed to do laundry anymore.
Yeah, I wonder how it will do it for me because I like the white separated and
Yeah, me too.
scrub different.
Yes.
Does it make a good cup of coffee?
Oh, that
I think it showed that. I may have skipped over that part though.
Well, I haven't been on all the time, so I guess I missed out. I was on a Rotary Club of peacemakers.
The
And we meet twice a month.
I want to see how he finishes this fold.
It's it.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe it's one of those shits. Shits?
Yeah.
Excuse me. I just had to do it.
Yeah, that's funny. Oh, wow. It's funny, the housing also looks new age.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I think this one here, because it's only showing the capabilities. What would have been very interesting if you saw the demonstration of the figure '01, I think it was. What made that special was that it's voice interaction with a human, where the human came up to it. I don't know if you remember, it was standing behind a table. On the table was a drying rack with some dishes in it, and then there was a couple of dishes on the table, and there was an apple on one of the dishes. And this human comes up and leans on the edge of the table and says, "Can you tell me what you see?" And the robot says, "Oh yeah, I see you leaning on the edge of my table." And the human then says, "Oh, can you give me something to eat?" And without any hesitation, the robot reaches down, picks up the apple, and hands him the apple. And then he says, "Why did you give me this apple?" And he said, "Well, because you asked for something to eat, and that was the only thing edible on the table. So that's why I gave it to you." And then he asked it to, he dumped some trash on the table, and he said, "Can you clean up the trash and then put the dishes where they need to go?" And it put it into the drying rack. So that was the case, but it was the way of the human and the robot talking together, and it was not sped up or slowed down. It was real time. Then the next example with the figure 02, they had two robots sitting in a kitchen with a countertop with some cabinets underneath the countertop and some drawers, and off to the left was some higher level cabinets. And so the two robots were sitting side by side, and the guy started handing stuff to the robots. And the robots started putting it away. It put the silverware into the drawers. It put boxes and stuff into the cabinets where it was needed. But what he started to do is he started to hand the robots things that were on the other side of the other robot. And the interesting thing was the robots knew immediately to hand those things off to the other robot that put them away. In other words, they didn't try to put them away themselves. The two robots cooperated to be able to do this. So what we're seeing here is just the level of advancement here. Now, what this video is showing really is the autonomous factor of this robot doing all these things in this house, where it has to decide, what am I doing in this particular case? And it's demonstrating that. I wish it had, I didn't have a chance to preview it before. I wish it had um, some audio in it that we could have seen these things happening. Okay,
Oh,
so
I wonder what the legal repercussion would be if you have a robot like this at home with minors. Would that apply? Like, should somebody call social worker, social, services, or because the minors are being there without a human because they are minors, and now, but they would say no, but a robot is actually taking care of them. I wonder how that deal. Not that I will do that, something like that.
It'll be interesting here. I think we're a number of years away from most people doing that, although it gets into the age factor. If the child is 12, 13 years old, I mean, we wouldn't do it here in the States. But my granddaughter, when she was 13, she thought nothing of getting in a train in Munich and taking a trip on her own to Frankfurt, which is a 4.5 hour train ride away, to visit her friend she had used to live in Munich and had moved to Frankfurt. But the idea that my granddaughter on her own would think of, oh yeah, let me just go get a train ticket and I'll hop on the train and take a 4.5 hour trip to a different city to visit my friend. So I guess if so today's 12, 13-year-old kids are a little different than maybe they were in my generation. But on the other hand, if a child is only like 4 or 5 years old, that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll start off saying, "Are you allowed to leave your dog alone at home with the robot?" And that'll start things off. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about the agentic process. Let me see if I can bring up the Opal here. Okay, we're not gonna, well, it's not that long. Let's see.
AI update is insane. Google just dropped a massive update that's going to change everything. Opal A, I just expanded to 15 new countries, and it builds entire apps without you writing a single line of code, zero coding. You just tell it what you want, and boom, app built. Plus, they added insane debugging features and made it way faster. This update is absolutely crazy, and I need to show you what's happening right now, because this is going to make a lot of people a lot of money. So, what is Opal? It's from Google Labs. They dropped it in July, but this October expansion is what's making this explode right now. Most people think building apps is hard. You need developers, you need to know code, you need months of work, not anymore. Opal lets you describe what you want in plain English. Then it builds a visual workflow for you. It chains together AI models, it connects tools, it does all the hard stuff automatically. You just tweak it if you need to, and then you share it. That's it. And the crazy part, it's free right now, and now it's available in 16 countries total: Canada, India, Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, Indonesia, Brazil, Singapore, Colombia, El Salvador, Costa Rica, Panama, Honduras, Argentina, Pakistan, and the US. That's huge. Let me tell you what's new in this October update, because this is where things get insane. First, they added advanced debugging. This is massive. You can now run your workflow step by step in the visual editor, or you can test a specific step in the console. Errors show up in real time, right where the problem is. No more guessing, no more wasting hours trying to figure out what broke. You see exactly what went wrong and exactly where. This alone is a game changer. Second, they made it way faster. Before, it could take 5 seconds or more just to create a new app. Now it's almost instant. They rebuilt the core system, made it lightning fast. And here's the crazy part. They added
Okay, just here so you can see, this lets you go and say, hey, I want to do something. It generates for you a workflow, what it thinks is the workflow. So it's saying, oh, I need to, this is apparently something to do with the weather. So it says, okay, I need to get the location details. And then it says, use search maps to do this. And it used those things in this step. Or you could enter the location or then get the weather details. So once you know what well, that one doesn't have a link, but it shows here the links. Where's the dependencies on these different steps? So this apparently is some kind of a game that is like SimCity or whatnot. It builds a city here, but there's a lot of templates, so you can actually take a look at somebody who created a workflow, and you can take that workflow and say, instead of starting from scratch, this one is similar to what I'm thinking. So I'll grab that workflow and I'm just going to edit it now and make my copy to do what I want it to do.
runs. That means if you're
So here, for example, so it generates a game concept, the image prompts, generates the video instruction.
Workflow has multiple steps, they can all run at the same time, not one after another, at the same time. So complex workflows that used to take forever now finish in seconds. This is huge for anyone building serious automation. Third, they kept adding marketing templates, thumbnail generators, content summarizers, quiz builders, all the stuff that normally takes hours to build. And fourth, the AI outputs keep getting better, way smarter, way more polished, less manual, fixes needed. Now let me break down how this actually works. Opal uses workflow chaining. You're stringing together different AI models and tools. Think of it like building with Lego blocks, Gemini for writing, Imagen for images, Veo for video and audio. You connect them in a sequence. One output feeds into the next input. That's how you build complex apps without code. The way you start is simple. You go to the Opal site, you pick a template or start from scratch. Let's say you want to build a content summarizer. You type make me an app that takes a blog URL and gives me a summary plus key points. Opal takes that, builds a visual workflow, shows you each step. You see it all visually, boxes and arrows, super clear, and you can edit any step, click on a box, change the prompt, add conditions, connect to different models. You're the director, Opal is just the builder. I want to tell you about something. If you want to scale your business, get more customers, save hundreds of hours with AI automation, you need to check out my AI Profit Boardroom. It's on school, link in the description.
This is his commercial, so disregard this part.
This is where I share everything I'm doing to build my 7-figure agency with AI. You get access to workflows, templates, case studies, real stuff that's making real money. Now let me show you what you can actually build with this. First up, content creation. You can build apps that generate blog posts, social media content, email sequences, all automated. Second is marketing automation, thumbnail generators, ad copywriters, landing page builders, quiz makers, all the stuff agencies charge thousands for. Third is data processing, build apps that analyze spreadsheets, extract insights, generate reports. Fourth is prototyping, build a prototype in Opal, test it, show it to investors or customers, get feedback. Here's what I'm seeing people miss. The real opportunity isn't just building apps for yourself, it's building apps for other people. Small businesses need automation, they need AI tools, but they don't know how to build them. This is where you come in, you learn Opal, you build custom mini apps for clients, you charge for it. This is a brand new service category, and there's almost zero competition right now. But here's the thing you need to know. This isn't perfect yet. It's still experimental. Features can break, things can change. The AI outputs aren't always perfect. Graphics can be off. You need to check everything before you ship it to a client. External integrations are limited right now. You can't easily connect to external APIs. It's mostly working with Google's own tools. And there are complexity limits. You can build pretty sophisticated workflows, but there's a ceiling. Opal is for mini apps, simple tools, not full-blown software platforms. But the new debugging features change everything. Before, when something broke, you had to guess. Now you see exactly what's wrong. You can test each step individually, fix it fast, move on. That's huge. And the speed improvements mean you can build and test way faster. That means more apps, more clients, more money. Let me give you some real use cases I've tested. First, I built a blog post outline generator. You input a keyword. Opal searches for top ranking content, analyzes it, generates an outline. Total build time, 20 minutes. Second, I built an email sequence generator for e-commerce. You input product details and target audience. Opal generates a 5-email welcome sequence. Third, I built a social media content calendar tool. You input your niche and posting frequency. Opal generates a month of content ideas. That's something social media managers need constantly. You see where I'm going with this? The opportunities are everywhere. You just need to think about what people need, what problems they have, then build a simple tool that solves it. You don't need to be a genius coder. You just need to understand the problem and know how to use Opal. Here's my process for finding opportunities. First, I look at what services people are paying for on Fiverr or Upwork. Second, I ask myself, can I automate this with AI? Third, I build a quick prototype in Opal, test it. Fourth, I reach out to people who need that service, show them the tool, get feedback. Fifth, I refine it based on feedback, then I sell it. The key is speed, build it fast, test it fast, sell it fast. And with the new debugging features, you can build even faster. Less time fixing bugs, more time building in new apps, more time making money. That's the game. Here's what I recommend you do today. Go sign up for Opal. If you're in one of the 16 countries, just try it. Build something simple. Pick one use case that interests you. Content creation, marketing, data, whatever. Build a prototype tool for that use case. Show it to 5 people who might need it. Get feedback, refine it, and start selling. Don't overthink this. Just start building. Here's another angle. Use Opal to build lead magnets. Create a free tool that solves a specific problem for your target audience. Put it on your website. Collect emails to access it. Now you have a lead generation machine. For example, if you're targeting real estate agents, build a property description generator, free to use, email required. Now you have a list of real estate agents you can sell your main services to.
Communication evolves with time and culture, and right now a new form of visual storytelling is taking over the workplace, led mostly by Gen Zers who have grown up with visuals and images and photos shaping the way we understand the world. So we use neuroscience to measure this with steady state topography, the leading neuromeasurement in the commercial world, to understand the true impact of visual communication. We found that it opened the doorways to memory centers 74% faster than the duller text-heavy alternative. Not only that, but emotion went up by 26%, likability went up by 16%. And so in the workplace, if you want your ideas to lead change, don't just tell people, you have to show them. Read the full report today to find out more.
Let me tell you what I'm most excited about. It's not just the tool itself, it's what this represents. We're entering an era where anyone can build AI-powered applications. You don't need a computer science degree. You just need to understand problems and know how to use these tools. That's democratization of technology, and it's going to create massive opportunities for regular people. And the fact that Google is expanding this fast, adding features this fast, that tells you they're serious about this, they're investing heavily, more countries are coming, more features are coming. Get in now while competition is low. I want you to understand something. Artificial intelligence is not going to take your job, but someone using AI is going to take your job if you don't adapt. The people who learn these tools, who build with them, who create value with them, those people are going to thrive. So here's my challenge to you. Don't just watch this video and move on. Actually do something with this information. Go to Opal right now. Sign up, build one thing, then show it to someone. That's how you start. And if you want to go deeper, if you want to really scale this, if you want to build a business around AI automation, join my AI Profit Boardroom.
Okay. So the idea here is with these agent technologies. Now, as you said, this version of Opal just came out a couple of days ago, and it's supposedly free. I think here, many of the countries that you guys are in, not all, but many, have access to this already. The uh, OpenAI came out just the other day, about a week ago now, when they had their Open Dev Days with Agent Kit. An Agent Kit has something inside called Agent Builder. It works the exact same way. But as he was saying here, that right now the number of external apps that you can talk to through the agent is restricted here. The OpenAI has access to many, many more of the other apps you can plug into Canva because we just saw the ad, or so many of these other tools you can just plug in and start to interact. In other words, you can go and hand off to that other external application that has an agent that will then guide you through that agent's piece of the work, and then it brings that piece of the work back into the main flow. So this is an area that's exploding, and we've got on top of these, there's at least we have Manus, we've got GenSpark, we've got Zapier. There's many, many, many products in this space. But the thing to show is the ease, how they're making it easy to develop these agents. Now, on the one hand, this guy's saying you can make all this money, go out and figure out who needs an agent and build them an agent because you can do it so quickly. Well, about 2 years ago, they said the same thing about prompt engineering. Be a prompt engineer. In the meantime, we see most people don't do their own prompting. They have AI do the prompting for them. And I venture to say that I expect within 3 to 6 months, we're going to see these agent builders truly become the agent designers. We see Google has, for example, a robotic arm that is mounted on a counter, and it does stuff that's within its reach. But the interesting thing about it is how did it figure out what to do? How does it know what the work is that's supposed to do? Imagine that's a some kind of a rolling platform that's bringing parts past it, and it's supposed to do something with these parts that come past it. And what it does is it just watches the human doing the work for a little while, and then it starts to do it. In other words, the AI going forward is learning by just observing what's going on. And in fact, I think there's one on cooking where there's a robot that can cook stuff, and they just have it watch YouTube videos. In other words, it's taught itself how to cook by watching YouTube videos. And we're going to see that is going to be the future a lot on this. So let's play a game. Let's walk through a a typical case where we might see an agent technology here, especially using avatars. So imagine you're going to a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer's office, and there's a receptionist. So since most of us know what it's like to go to a doctor's office, you come in and somebody says, how can I help you? And you give your name and you say, I'm here to see Dr. So-and-so. And usually it'll ask for something like to your telephone number or your birth date or something like that to confirm who you are. It'll then bring up your record and see if it has the latest insurance information for you. And if it doesn't, it asks to see your insurance cards. And so you show the insurance cards. And maybe they're going to have you fill out or update your information on what medications you take or something like this. So imagine in the future you come in, there's an avatar there, and it asks you all those same questions, and it captures the information, and perhaps there's a form you have to fill out, and so it points to the form on the side is a stack of forms, and you take a form and fill it out. But no human. It's just an avatar. That avatar can handle all the weird situations that come up. If you say, "Oh, I have this medication that I take now that wasn't on the list," and so it asks you what medication, or it tells you, or you tell it, and it may ask you what doctor prescribed that, or who knows, whatever it is they think they need to know. Then they tell you to take a seat. And then some nurse will come and take you and capture your weight and your blood pressure and the oxygen level of your blood, and ask you a bunch of questions of why you're there or whatever, or how you're feeling. And but that could easily be an avatar as well. And keep in mind, the avatar could be a telepresence avatar. About 7, maybe 8 years ago now, I was at a presentation at a Rotary Club, and the business manager of the sixth largest hospital chain in America was presenting and talking about technology, how technology is making a difference. And he was telling us how in their hospital network, they've got the big hospitals in the cities, but in smaller cities, they have clinics, these small clinics, probably similar to what they call urgent care centers today. And but it gets very expensive if you've got the doctors. On Monday, they're at this urgent care center. Tuesdays, they're there. Wednesdays, they're there. And so the doctors are spending so much of their time traveling around and so forth. So he was explaining how most of their clinics now use telepresence. So it's a video screen, but it's like Zoom. So the doctor has to be on the other end of the video, and this video is on wheels on a pole, like these,
Sorry, Bill, your hospital system is owned privately?
That hospital system is oh yeah, almost all the hospitals are privately
Really?
owned here in the U.S. So
I didn't know that.
so they're all over the country. It's like I say, it's the sixth largest hospital chain here in America, and so these telepresence. There's these devices that you see people, tourists going around cities in sometimes, where it's got two wheels, and you just stand on it, and it you can drive around on it. It balances things. Well, they've got those for telepresence. They have a long arm, and at the top there's a screen. And so if you, let's say, in a lot of factories in China, they've got these things so that the international business people that have to deal with that, they can use their own computer in their office, and that computer, it becomes the screen on there. They can see what's in front of them, and they can navigate around on these telepresence, and they can wander around the factory and watch all the stuff that's going on there. Well, this hospital chain uses these now in the clinics. So the doctors don't have to go to the clinics to see the patients. In most cases, they go very far less frequently. So the nurse will be there, get the patient ready, and the telepresence will roll into the room. The doctor sees the patients and does the interviewing with the patients and figures out what's going on. So the now that is the actual doctor, but very soon, according to this manager, those will be avatars. So the avatars will be rolling around, but and they will see what's going on, and they will report back. But the manager doesn't have to interrupt what they're doing. The human manager doesn't actually have to do it themselves. They can have the avatar do it for them. So for a lot of inspection type situations that are there, this can probably become common.
So are we going to see less human doctors soon? I assuming
Oh,
that the surgeons are still needed,
no,
but they're
actually
using another.
here, surgeons is an area that is very quickly being taken over by robots, because the robotic surgeons are able to do incisions with much more accuracy. So, for
Precision,
example,
yeah.
so removing tumors and stuff like this, the robotic doctors can do this much more. There's one of the very popular ones is the Da Vinci surgeon robot. That still has a human guiding it today, but in the very near future, that piece, because the human is the weak link, the human can get
Because of the tremor sometimes.
right, right. So many things. So at any rate, here, and then there's that, Theranos, the woman that is in
Elizabeth.
prison for fraud for
Elizabeth,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, but so she said here, oh, she's got the device the size of a cell phone that will do all the blood tests and all of these things. It captures the blood, breaks it down, and then it would send it over the internet to the device that would just use the numbers of the results to do it. Actually, she was 100% right. That device is coming. This business manager put similar device on the table and said, "This is what's going to replace most of our human doctors within 10 years." That's what he was saying, because it's able to handle almost all the diagnostics, and it's connected to back end artificial intelligence. The woman in Theranos, the problem was they promised they were doing it already, and they weren't. They were having humans in the back end doing it. And they were just doing that to be able to get investors to put in more money. So that was the fraud, but that's coming, guaranteed. That's coming. Teachers, think of teachers. The first thing about teachers is we're going to get rid of teaching. And some examples of that is the Eureka schools in the schools in Eureka, Washington, I think it is, or California, somewhere's out in the West Coast. um, they just decided to switch from a teacher-driven education model to a learner-driven education model, and where the students learn at their own pace and they don't have grades. You have to master each subject to be able to go on to the next. So there's no value of grades because you can't go on and say, "Oh, I got an 80% my last course."
Yeah, but I wonder how they teach like outdoor education, which is becoming very essential now, especially for mental health or
Mhm.
experimental. I
Right.
mean, experiments. You need
But
somebody to
you
actually do
saw
the
you saw
experiment.
the robot. You
Mm.
saw the robot. How long do you think it's going to be before that
Yeah, but
robot?
in places, third world country, we're not going to have robots around. In the US or Europe, and some countries, yes, or
Yeah,
Japan,
yeah.
China.
Well, China's already got them. Japan's got them in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
Healthcare, for example.
Yeah, Japan had been working on that because of the elderly population. That's how the whole
Exactly.
thing started.
Yeah, yeah. And because they don't have the young population to care for the elderly, and the same problem in China. But we're going to be seeing that everywhere because elder care is becoming an issue in most developed countries. I agree with you. It's going to take a lot longer to get to some developing countries, but it will get to the cities in the developing countries probably fast. It's just going to not get to the countryside. And that's a major problem for us because the countryside very often lives by servicing. They sell their crops and things like this to the cities. And the people with the money that in the developed side of the country are financing it all. And that's probably going to go away because most of those people are going to lose their jobs. And that takes us to the question of the jobs, which we wanted to make sure that we answered for Sid. Um, and Sid, what jobs, can you describe a job or the kind of a function, tasks of a job that you think AI and robots will not be able to compete with humans on, or a new kind of a job that might be created that where humans would have an advantage.
Dancing.
Oh, dancing. No, there's I would venture to say by 2030, around 2030, you're going to actually have robotic dancing instructors. They're going to be so good, they're going to dance with the human partners to help the human partner learn to dance. and you're not going to know the difference. Or in the ballet, we're going to see, maybe that might take 10 years. We're going to
Except for
see.
the feel, I think.
Well, I
Yeah,
agree. Yeah,
but
Paul.
remember that a lot of these things we do not because like for example, farming is something that I like doing. I
Mhm.
actually do it, and I don't think I'm gonna give it up.
No,
And I want to learn to dance, so I don't think I'm gonna give it up either. So there's
yeah.
more like personal growth or something that you want as a human being to do.
Yes, and exactly, and that's the place. If you think about it today, a couple of 100 years ago, if you were to get a coffee cup, the coffee cup was probably, if it was a good quality ceramic, it was probably hand painted and whatnot, handmade. And that's all there was. And then came factories along that could mass produce coffee cups and things. But there's a lot of people that still valued the handmade coffee cup. They wanted that handmade, hand painted coffee cup. I have cups like that, old cups here that I value. If one of these machine made ones break, I don't. It doesn't really bother me. But if one of the handmade ones, the older ones that I have, if they break, I really get upset with that. So I think what's going to happen is you're not going to have the work for compensated. In other words, you're going to do the farming because you love to farm. You're going to do the dancing because you love to dance. And you may be painting, or you might be a musician, but maybe you weren't good enough to actually make your whole living off doing that. But you're going to be freed from having to work to make a living. So now you can pursue your passions. So the things you do, you're going to do because you love doing them, not because you have to. Because we see the polls say right now about 80% of people hate their jobs, right? And so the thing about it is they're not gonna be forced to do something they hate, which leaves them no time to do the things they love because they've got to earn a living. Now that assumes that we figure out a way to share in the benefits of the AI. If AI and robots can make all the stuff we need, then we can focus on the stuff we want. And but that's only going to happen if the people who own the automation and the robots share those benefits that they're getting.
Bill, you were describing the clinic or hospital situation, and in our system in Canada is very different.
Mm.
I think it's all of Canada, but I know for sure in Ontario, we have what we call a universal health care,
Right.
right? So
Mhm.
it's financed by your tax dollars. So there's no privately owned hospital, privately. You can go to have elective things, but those are options.
Right.
They're still available to people who can't afford them in the universal system. So there is no, the only reason private clinics are there is because a rich person may want it quicker.
Yeah.
Right? Not that it's available, right? Everything is available to everybody.
Mhm.
And our doctors used to have individual offices, but now we have what we call a clinic system.
Mhm.
So it's connected to the hospital, it's connected to the Ontario government. So, for example, I will get a letter from, which I did, from the Ontario government, you must have this, and this. They tell us from, and we go to the doctor and they arrange it. They have to. We have something called preventative care. They've signed an agreement with the government that you have to do preventative care as opposed to cure claims.
Yeah.
So they have to prevent you as much as it's
Mhm.
possible for having things.
Mhm.
So the clinic system has, pharmacy there, it has x-rays, it has all these things that you can access. So in that sense, I think that the automation wouldn't kind of work because doctors, like for example, a floor, the doctor I go to, there's 5 stories, and it's all doctors in there, and they all share copying and then this and that. It's good, but each of the doctors do have their own assistants, medical assistant, like
Right.
for because you can't go in unless you have a health card, for example, which
Right.
is issued by the government.
Yeah.
So they have to validate that.
And they
And
share the receptionist, they share the building
yes,
maintenance, they share
yes,
the insurance processing,
right,
all of that stuff is shared facilities. And
right.
then, like you say, they've got the nurses.
Yeah,
Sometimes it might be by a department, there might be shared nurses within
yeah,
the same ophthalmology or whatever,
right.
might share a
And
couple of.
even in those clinics, they have, even though there are doctors in there, and we live in a city where there's a hospital, comprehensive hospital. Downstairs, there's something called urgent care. So if you can't
Right.
get to the doctor, you can
Yep.
still get to the urgent care.
Yes.
Um, so again, everything is designed around prevention.
Yeah, and that's what we've done here. Here in New Jersey, we used to have all the doctors all had their independent offices about 30 years ago, and then a consolidation started. So now in northern New Jersey, there's basically three networks or of where the doctors are all in one or another of these networks. The networks usually can consist of about 4 or 5 hospitals, and then a lot of clinics and doctors where the doctors share office complexes, and all the billing and insurance and all that stuff is centralized and shared. So it's very similar there, but and when we but it's private. But if we look here at Canada and Europe, you basically have socialized medicine. And what the push though is keeping the costs as low as possible for that. So we
For
see
maximum care, though, it's not just keeping the cost, it's for the patient to have,
right.
or
It's not cutting or limiting access to care. All it's doing is saying let's maximize the efficiency of
right.
providing the care,
But
and
they do,
that's
like when they changed that system, just to be fair,
yeah.
when they changed that system, which was, I think it was about 20 years ago, 18, 20 years ago, those people who could had a certain income, they asked, they wanted, it was voluntary.
Mhm.
We did it, but they asked you for a lump sum for the just to, because there was a huge cost, I think it was 1 or $0.2 billion just to turn the system around. So
Yeah,
instead of
yeah,
going into debt, they asked the citizens if you wanted to, so for in our case, um, we donated, I guess that's what you call it, to the pot,
right,
so that there
right,
was no debt incurred, so that the monies were spent on the actual system, because we care about other people
right,
being better, not
right,
just ourselves, right?
right.
So in saying all of this, what I was saying, I was thinking about how would a robot work in that system?
Oh, I think you're already seeing some of the places and around the world, literally, where difficult to reach locations. People are looking for ways to be able to provide
But this
kiosks.
is not going to happen in a lot of the world. It's first going to happen in the developed world.
Well, you'd be surprised here. There's a gentleman named Adnan Siddiqui in Pakistan who has developed this kiosk plugged into AI. And the idea at a relatively low cost, his goal is to have 30,000 of these through all the remote villages in Pakistan, provide a job for one person to be the operator. And it's connected on the back end into a network of pharmacies and hospitals. And the doctors can provide telemed service because the people there otherwise don't have access. And here we're starting to see more and more advertisements for where you can go and see your doctor online. And it's a lot of it is automated, but then parts of it are telemed, where you arrange the appointment and everything, but you don't have to physically go to the doctor.
Yeah,
You can
actually,
do
I'm
it from
working
home.
on a project called Community Resource Centers worldwide,
Mhm.
and it's with the Global Telehealth Network.
Right.
And we have about 5 locations in Africa that we're working on.
Mhm.
And they're very successful. The Global
Yeah.
Telehealth Network is they're American, very successful in
Mhm.
providing this service.
But
to
that's just going to get so much more sophisticated because they're getting close to where basically a nurse, and not even a nurse that has to be able to handle all situations, but let's say a nurse that's able to maybe draw blood or have you stick your finger in a hole in the device that takes a small blood sample, and then the processing of that blood sample is split into two levels where the physical part is local in that device, and the rest of it is that the interim results then go to a lab that does the final processing on it. And for a number of types of devices, the goal is to give more people access cheaper.
Yeah.
And AI is going to do, because right now we're seeing, as I mentioned, medical discovery. So let's speak about medical discovery for a moment, because we said earlier that's something we wanted to talk about. And if we think here about how Google DeepMind developed Google Go, they basically said to Google Go, hey, you know what? Here, play this game, figure out how it works, and just play it millions of times. And in those millions of times, you're gonna come across moves or combinations of moves that nobody ever tried because nobody's played that many games. And but we'll go and let you do it, and we'll see, do they contribute to a positive outcome or not? And as a result, the AlphaGo ended up being the world champion in playing Go, beat the world champion because it had come up with so many new ideas on how to play Go. What is happening in Toronto, and this goes back now, it's got to be at least 6, 7 years. Toronto's been using the labs in Toronto have been using a similar approach where they have AI just go through millions of combinations of treatments and observe what happens, especially with medications. And now more recently using the AlphaFold, where they're able to do what would have taken 10,000 years to work out about all these combinations of proteins, how proteins work and interact. And so they're able to just do all of these random tries on stuff, and then they throw out the ones that don't work, and they continue with the ones that made it through a particular phase. So this is how on the pharmaceuticals, this is how they came up with what did they call it? The the COVID vaccine. That's a classification of vaccine that is built on what AI came up with. And that's why they were able to discover that in such a short amount of time. And now that's being used in so many different ways. I understand that they came up with a very promising cure for liver cancer in about 1 month, something that probably would have taken about 7, 8 years. And so I think we're going to see in the next few years massive, massive numbers of new medications that are discovered or developed using AI. And that's going to apply to other kinds of treatments. About 15 years ago, you remember in a game of Jeopardy, Watson, the AI from IBM, won the Jeopardy game of just random knowledge that you need to have. After that point, IBM focused on medication. And so Watson, they made cooperations with Sloan Kettering Cancer Center and a number of others. Now, what they did is they captured hundreds of thousands of actual case studies of people who had diseases, and all of the kinds of tests that are out there that are possible, and what kinds of things they test for, and what kind of discoveries they can make. So then they would go and somebody would come to the hospital. They would take that person's medical record and they would put it in, and then they would compare it to these hundreds of thousands of cases and try to determine the diagnoses. and it would come back and say, oh, okay, I think it's this, and I'm 76% confident that that diagnosis is correct. But if you do this test, that'll increase my confidence level in the answer, maybe up to 83%. And if you do this other test, it'll increase it even further. So what it did is it was able to come out and say, based on comparing this person's case with all the other cases, we're able to come up with a confidence level on diagnoses and determine whether or not additional tests are worth it. Because if the additional test is not going to raise the confidence level, why do it? So that was the first step. Then they did the same thing on treatments, where they would say that, okay, for this diagnosis, this treatment, we would be 78% confident this treatment will succeed. And they might come out with some trials and whatnot. So they were able to come in and really narrow it. Is it perfect? No, because two things. IBM decided they wanted to make money on day one, so they made it very expensive, and so there was very little experimentation done on alternatives to improve it.
I have a quick question, Bill,
Sure.
in regards to that. There's been a lot of, like different medication scandals, like you get somebody who steals a script book from a doctor's office and then has a bunch of random people go and fill them after they've gone maybe to the emergency room for a toothache or something like that. So what are the limitations, not only on robotics when it goes into, programming it to clean your home or what have you? Who's to say that it can't be hacked to steal from you or to kill you? Or even in the medical system, are there limitations for when they are utilizing your information for maybe discovery of new cures and things like this? Are there limitations for identity theft as we dig deeper kind of into this? Where's kind of like that programming line where we're allowing it to freely advance itself with the knowledge that it has, but is there a possibility of utilizing it and programming these different entities to do harmful things, bad things?
Oh, no, this is a huge problem, because there are professionals out there whose job it is to figure out how to cheat people and how to abuse systems using AI or using technology in general. So we have groups that are out there competing on the other side to catch it. Early on, I was describing here how, because the question of deep fakes came up, and especially with this ability to make avatars and be able to make them look and sound like any live person. And the at the same time, in the cybersecurity world, that's a very hot field right now. There's people that are working on tools to detect. So, for example, on the with regards to the avatars, to say, is it a live person or is it a recording? They are able to go and detect micro movements in somebody's face to the spoken words, and to say that person was not live speaking those words. So we, in every aspect, you see here now, you use your thumbprint or your fingerprint, looking into your eye for biometrics on checking there, two-phase checks to log into places. So yeah, there's risk. There's going to be people when the humanoid robots are out there. There's going to be humanoid robots that somebody is going to train to beat people up and to steal from them. This is going to be something we're going to have to watch out for sure. And the idea of privacy, a lot of people are saying here, with AI. forget privacy. Just make sure you don't do anything here that you don't want to be made public, because it's going to be almost impossible to have true privacy anymore. I don't know when that's coming, but it will come.
No, definitely. That
Yeah.
is true. That is absolutely true.
Okay. So the key thing here, let me just see what okay, so right now, if you go to YouTube and just look for agent builders and things like this, you will see that the internet is full. Especially this last week, the ChatGPT agent builder, as part of their what they call agent kit, is just being massively discussed. If it had been a full week ago, I wouldn't have mentioned Opal at all. I would have said, "Oh no, ChatGPT passed Opal and forget about Opal." But Opal released an upgrade themselves that kept them in the competitive race. But there's a lot of people that still say, "No, I'm going to use Manus, or I'm going to use GenSpark, or I'm going to use uh, um, uh, Zapier here to build my flows, my AI workflows." Now, you just have to think here, all these flows, it's the real key behind these flows are something we call business process analysts. Maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago, systems analyst was a hot thing. Today is the business process analyst. In other words, the person that understands what's the flow of a business. They're able to come in, describe the flow of a business, and say, this is how the functions in the business can integrate together with automation. Now, the thing about it is, though, is over time, just like with the self-driving cars in the beginning, they could only handle a couple of hundred scenarios, a couple of hundred situations that had been described, and people said, okay, if this happens, do that. But as time goes on, more and more scenarios get captured, and more of the useful actions and ideas related to those scenarios get captured. And as a result, more and more of the functionality can be handed off to the AI or to the automation. So this right now, we've got so many people out there using these tools. That's why there's tools are so many tools, and why they're advancing almost every couple of weeks, that the new functionalities are coming out. Because this is hot. Companies are saying, hey, I can cut down if I can do more with the people I've got, or that I have a problem. It's very hard for me to train people on certain tasks. But if I can train a robot, that robot will train all the other robots, and at no cost. And the robots are coming faster and faster in their capabilities. Uh, so I think if anybody thinks, oh, down the road there'll be compensated jobs for humans, it is only a matter of time until every single thing a human can do, a robot or an AI will be able to do better and cheaper. For our current economic model, and until we change and have a model that's not based on supply, demand, and competition, the push is going to be, you must optimize the productivity of your business. Otherwise, you will be out of business, because your customers are going to go, if the guy next door can offer better results cheaper, they're going to go there. So that's where the time comes where people have to have the income, the ability to have income has to be independent of you having to have a job. And even if we think, oh, let's teach everybody AI, all that's going to do is increase the competition for the top AI people. It's not gonna create new jobs based on the AI side. And the idea of, oh, machine learning, more and more the machine learning is done and being managed by AI itself. So that again, not necessarily going to add jobs for humans. So this is why, Sid, are you there? Okay, so I'll just go on here, and the point is, what kind of a job can you imagine if the AI and robots can do all the existing jobs better and cheaper than human? What kind of a job can we envision where the human, what kind of a new job can we envision where AI is not going to also do that job better than a human? One of the things that we see right now, the way AI works, is humans give prompts. Humans ask for something. Humans initiate the conversation. But what are we seeing? We're seeing here that the ChatGPT Pulse just came out the week before last. That's where the AI knows what the kinds of things you want and it initiates the conversation. We see in a lot of things now, like in the medication discovery, where we ask AI to identify what medications would be useful to have, what would be the ones most useful to have, and
Mhm.
they kick off the process. We are seeing in so many of these fields in education. We know we don't want the teacher because the teacher is just a crutch. We need the learner to become a learner because you're never going to stop learning. You're going to have to learn your whole life long, and there's not going to be a teacher there waiting to teach you, but there might be an AI there ready to help you. And so you'll just have your conversation with that. But we can, it's hard to picture a sequence of things that a human does that a AI will not be able to do faster, better, and cheaper. So what I'm asking here, can somebody name something where they don't think AI will be able to do it better, faster, and cheaper? Please.
I I
I
believe it's
hope human passion is off the ground.
The idea is the passion, but that's not necessarily compensated. It can be compensated because there will always be a certain number of people
Also,
that will.
just jobs.
Yeah.
Sorry, Paul, I think I interrupted you.
yeah. I think I know Bill pushes a lot of AI in education, but I still believe education. I don't see AI right now actually taking it in Costa Rica, for example, because there's so many flaws along the system. I mean, right now they're using Chat GPT, but what are the teachers are telling the students? I mean, it's a bad use of AI. It's basically get your answer there, copy it, turn it in. They're not using it to reasoning, to strategic thinking, to creative thinking, to project-based learning, nothing. So I still think the teachers, but qualified teachers,
Yeah.
I mean, trained teachers
But
for
here's
the
the issue.
very early age,
Yeah.
they still need that.
Here,
And teach them to use the tools. AI is a tool for me
yeah.
to
Here's the
use so that you maximize your
yeah.
work. Like for
Here's the
example,
issue.
just this.
Here's the issue that you're going to run into. That AI in almost every case can teach a particular subject better than a human because number one, it can be one-on-one with the students, which you can do for a few students with human teachers, but you can't do for all students. And number two, the problem in education is not the quality of the teachers for most of the world. We see that in
Oh
the
yes,
United
it is.
States.
It is.
Yeah,
It
but
is.
in the United States, we see that where they take in schools and taken the best teachers from the best schools and put them in the worst schools don't get any better. It's the kids that are the problem, not the teachers. The kids and their home that said, don't waste your time on education, or say, no, you have to work from age 5, or that the parents don't read and don't appreciate reading. There are study after study after study that shows that you can give the best teachers, take the best teachers and put them and give them a class of 30. Don't give them 2 students. They can always do better with that. But give them a typical class of 30 students, put them in the worst school, swap out the teachers from the best elementary school and the worst elementary school in a state. If it's all up to the teachers, you should expect that worst school is going to get better, but it won't. And because the problem walks in the door every day in the form of the students themselves, you have to find a way to get the students to be responsible for the learning, not the teachers. And if you do that, then they can find the teaching tools that will help them the most. Tracy, you want to add something to that?
For this issue, like here in Africa,
Yep.
AI is really a good thing. But now, when it comes to teachers, there is a way the teachers get involved with the students. They would know what a student is lacking, which may not be the case with AI. Like that interaction, personal interaction with the student. This student is not paying attention. This student is lacking here. This student is not understanding this. I think it makes more sense when it's an interaction personally with a human rather than an AI. There is that connection it gives to understand your students.
Yeah.
I think that would not be the case with AI.
Yeah. That's
In my
there's
understanding.
Yeah, there's an experiment. There's an experiment that has been done in Japan, where they've got cameras all around the room. I think it's called something 360 because the cameras are watching the students from every angle, and it's able to detect in their face and know is the student understanding what the teacher is saying or not. In other words, we're finding that AI can better judge the individual, what's going on inside the head of the individual student than a human. They're better at emotional intelligence. Israel uses it in the airports and things like this. They're able to detect just by looking at the facial expressions and certain muscle twitches and things. The AI is able to detect people that need further screening to gain access. So we are learning that AI can learn about the individual humans better than other humans can. And that's coming out of studies. It's not just, oh, I think humans are better. I think humans are not better. These are studies that are showing that AI has that capability to really understand what works for what student and how to, and it can do it for it can do it for millions of students individually, really understand what is the best approach to help that student become a learner, not to teach them stuff, but to teach them how to become a confident learner, which is the ultimate of what we need going forward.
Yeah, but Bill, but how will you, I mean, this we can go on back and forth on this. But for me, education starts much younger,
Yes.
3 months old.
Yeah.
Since they birth.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to go to gross motor skills, fine motor skills, I mean, social emotion, waiting for your turn, collaborating, speaking. I mean, right now, a lot of those skills have been lost.
No,
With
but
the
here's
increased
the
number of smartphones,
yeah. Well,
the
forget
majority
the smartphone.
of the 20 years old do
Yeah.
not talk. They cannot even
Yeah.
talk to you face to face.
You're correct because and you talk about the 3-month-old. Finland has preschool starting as young as 6 months of age. And that has contributed to the majority of students by the time they
I
get to
start
first
at
grade.
3 months.
Yeah, but here's the problem. The problem is we have not been able to fix the social problems. What are you going to do about parents that are not parents? They don't do whatever's needed to parent. They won't even go to register their child to go to free preschool. They won't do a thing. The child that just sits there and they stay out of my way, don't bother me. Right? What are we going to do about the adult who sends his 5-year-old son to go buy him beer? What are we going to do about? And that's the problem. There are studies. The city of Providence. They took the city of Providence and a study financed by Bloomberg Foundation. They put microphones on all the babies and they tracked them for like 5 years, and they found that the children from working and welfare class families, they hear up to 30 million fewer words by age 3. Okay. And almost all the words they hear are commands. Don't do that. Don't touch that. Do this. And so
Yeah,
they
because
don't
a lot of the number of words increase by reading.
Yes,
reading and speaking. I
right.
mean, if
Well, that
you
doesn't affect
nobody
the
reads, you
three.
do not read books, you do not gain vocabulary.
Yeah, but these parents don't read to their kids either.
Hmm.
They don't
Hmm.
spend any time with their kids, basically.
Hmm.
So the problem is these kids get into first grade and they don't have any verbal vocabulary.
Hmm.
So now we try to teach them phonetically how to read, and we assume that if they know how to pronounce the combination of letters, they're going to recognize what that word is and
Hmm.
they're going to know it. But if they don't know the word verbally, that doesn't
Hmm.
help them.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
this is the reason why we contract schools. Right now in New Jersey, here on reading at fourth grade, we have schools in fourth graders, less than 1% of the students in the entire school are proficient in reading. Less than
Hmm.
1%. So the issue that we know it's the home situation makes the primary
Hmm.
difference between
Hmm.
success or failure in the schools.
Hmm.
But we have this philosophy, all children have to be treated equally in the schools. So we treat that child who has had 4 years of preschool and is already reading and has numeracy, we have to treat them the same as the kid who doesn't even have a 3-year-old vocabulary and
No,
can't.
I'm going to kind of challenge that, Bill.
Yeah.
Um, uh, when I first came to Canada, like I didn't know the school system here because it's very different from how I was brought up. And the teachers, you had to write a test to sort of assess your knowledge on math, English, history one I failed a little bit, and the geography because I didn't know Canada and the history of Canada. But the teacher didn't take that into consideration. They take the overall. But what I found was, uh, so I'm being a devil's advocate, as you know, I like to do that. I think an AI would be able to assess your marks that you get in a questionnaire, for example. But what I found was my teachers throughout high school in Canada took a personal interest in me and recognized, I don't know why they did, but I've often talk about it, helped me that I was a visual learner
Mhm.
as opposed to a text learner. I still am. I like visuals, right? And just coached me. Different teachers took interest in me and coached me on functionality, how to function in the system because I found it very difficult. Came to Canada and went right to high school, if you can believe that, which was like a shock, you know. But of course they thought I was smart and courteous and nice and all that kind of stuff. So I think that played something in it. But I was just thinking about what you're saying, like an AI thing, I don't know what we call it, um, would say that I'm good in this in math and English and world history, which was what I was good at, but I wasn't good at history in Canada and geography. I'd just been 72 hours in the country when I went to high school. Um, so on paper, they could help. But it was the recognition of teachers, the homeroom teacher talking to me that realized there was something more. So, like I'm trying to say what Paula is saying that it took that personal
Yeah.
question and that
Mhm.
personal interest, not just question, but the interest
Yes.
that led to other teachers helping me as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. I can identify. Here's a very similar situation. My daughter was 9 years old when we came to the States. She did not speak one, well, she spoke one word of English. The only word she knew was yes. That's the only word she knew in English. So she went to school. We were still in Europe. We sent them the day before they landed at my parents, the day before school began. So the day after she landed in the States, she went into school not understanding a word of English. My mother used to go, they have these little glass windows in the doors of a lot of classrooms, and she used to go and watch my daughter sitting in the back of the class, her legs going like crazy, not understanding a single word the teacher was saying. And that teacher, turns out, that was either third or fourth grade, I don't remember which. The teacher would pick my daughter up on Saturday and Sunday, and with a cassette player, and taught her English. And so you're 100% right. But the AI we're talking about today, is an AI that knows you inside and out, knows what you know, knows what you don't know, knows all about your personal situations, knows all about, and is able to literally read your eyes as good as a professional psychologist or
But
psychiatrist
you
would be
also
able to.
gave that example of Israel using
Yeah.
AI to identify people. I don't know how the whole history, but I'll tell you the personal history I've had. I know a lot of people that go to Israel
Mhm.
that are pro-Israel. I don't know about now, but before. And they were harassed by Israel. It was so bad that they said, "I'm never going to go there again."
No, yeah, and it's true because
So I'm just saying personal.
yeah, no, you're 100% right. What I was just saying though is because Israel is somewhat paranoid that
Mhm.
people coming into the country or traveling through the country or getting on a plane that their security is probably the most extreme
Yeah,
in the world, and
yeah.
they probably do have their thing tailored so that if in doubt, pull them out of the line.
But I'm talking about a lot of Christians. I'm an atheist, but
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends that are religious from all religion, and they were amazed that the well their words, but that it, it was so wrong.
No,
And
yeah, but again, I'm only talking about the
yeah,
technology
I'm
from
just
the
saying that we
perspective.
just can't say that it's used, but because there's also a
Yeah,
negative
yeah, no,
connotation
no,
to it.
no,
That's all I'm saying.
that's true. But what?
I
Yeah,
wouldn't say anything about Israel,
yeah.
because I'm working something. They may have to do something with that.
No, I'm
But
not saying
I'm
anything
gonna talk
against them.
about
I'm saying
China
about no,
because
Paul, I'm
China
not
they
saying
use
anything about
facial
Israel.
recognition.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, because China.
China has the program using the facial recognition. If you help an elderly woman across the road, you win some plus points. If you ignore somebody that's in trouble, you lose points.
Hmm.
And that can get you free travel on the buses and subways.
Oh.
Or it can get you banned from being able to travel the buses and subways. In other words, they've got this point system to say how good a person are you.
Yeah,
Uh,
Big
Wow.
Brother, and I don't like it because we are who we are.
yes,
If
but
a
the
person is a jerk, I mean
yeah,
that's who
yeah,
they
yeah.
are.
Yeah.
But we sort of do that in the States. We say let everybody have a gun because it's their responsibility to see are they good or bad. But they'll tell you what, the people who are the victims of the gun
Yeah,
violence,
Yeah.
they would prefer to say no, your freedom to do whatever you want and have a gun and does not surpass my freedom to be safe. Right?
yeah,
Mhm.
So it's a conflict. But
It,
I can tell you here in time. I almost guarantee you we are going to have Big Brother everywhere. And
yeah.
yeah.
that's
I think
So I just
it's
want to
something in the
clarify
making.
yeah.
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 What I just want to clarify what I'm saying. I was just pointing out that AI can be wrong in terms
Oh,
of
yes. It
that's
definitely
all I was pointing
yes.
out.
And
Not it's not
AI
it was about the country, it was
yeah.
about the
Yeah.
AI.
And we see that with Tesla right now. Tesla's got a huge problem because it's been discovered that Tesla in the self-driving cars has a weakness when it comes to railroad crossings, that it doesn't always stop on its own. And so just because something is possible doesn't mean it's going to be right. In fact, if we look back, remember when ChatGPT first came out and the image building capability first came out, people had 7, 8 fingers on each hand, and it couldn't do hands. It couldn't spell. You couldn't make a picture and say put these words on it and have the spelling be correct. So the early days of all of these technologies is going to be very weak. We are now over 3 hours and 20 minutes
Yeah.
into the meeting, so I think here we need to end this. I want you to think about the process here of what somebody does, that receptionist in the office, that nurse assistant, that almost all jobs, the warehouse clerk, there's standard operating procedures of how you're supposed to do what. And if we can describe what people are supposed to do in what situation, AI can replicate that. Our problem is that there's still, even after we automate those, there's still huge numbers of variations that we haven't captured. We haven't described.
I just thought about one emergency worker, the
Yeah.
rescue.
Oh,
How you
yes.
how you actually use
Okay.
robots or whatever AI for that.
No, I
I know that when there is a demolition or something, they can actually go. You can use drones to look around, or
I almost
actually
guarantee you
can
for the
send them.
typical person going to an emergency medical situation within 10 years, those are going to be robots. I've got to unfortunately go.
Yep.
So, but I think we had an interesting meeting, Sid.
Yeah.
I'm going to send you a WhatsApp later, and we'll talk about the jobs you think of that can't be automated. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.